What's going on, everybody? My name is Evan. I am Servers at Home, and this is the state of self-hosting. This is week 36, I think. Today's Friday, June 19th. It's 1:30 on the East Coast. How's everybody doing out there today? If this is your first time joining us, basically what we do here is just talk about some home lab news, talk about tech news. I'm going to be going through the self-host newsletter, at least some of them. That's what you guys see on your screen right now. This is the self-host newsletter. It's produced by Ethan Sholly. I don't produce it. I just kind of go over the content. We also, full disclosure, sponsor self-host. We sponsor Ethan because I love the work that he's doing for the home labbers. The fact that he gives this newsletter away for free to everybody. I really just love the fact that he's keeping us all up to date. In case you don't know, there's literally like 1 million containers on Docker Hub. I have no idea how he keeps up with all the changes, but I love to support him in that effort. I love what he's doing, so that's why we're sponsors. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. I've got some show notes over here on the side. Yeah, wow, it's going to be a bunch today. It's going to be an absolute bunch. I haven't done this, I think, since like mid-April. I think it's been 2 solid months since I've done a live stream, which that's kind of my own fault. I'm trying to work with that here. Like, it's scheduling wise, obviously I don't do this full time yet, or maybe ever for that matter. I'm definitely not one of those YouTubers with 1 million people viewing my channel where this is my full-time job. I work like most of you guys work, full-time IT for a W-2. I do this on the side because I just love what I do. I love this world. I love this community, and that's what we're trying to build here is something really great. My goal is to make sure this goes pretty smoothly today. If anyone's been on these live streams before, you guys know that sometimes we've had a little bit of connection issues going back and forth. I'm hoping today's going to be good. If there's any audio issues, please hit up the chat. If you guys are getting any like spinning wheel of deaths or any kind of random cutouts, just let me know. But on the list of things to talk about today, I'm just going to run you through some of the show notes I have right now before we get going, and then we'll talk about some news, talk about some new apps and stuff, and we'll jump right into the newsletter. EuroOffice came out. There's a big kerfuffle about that, so we're going to get into the EuroOffice, LibreOffice, Nextcloud drama. That's coming up probably first. I'm going to talk about Mythos and Fable, if you're familiar with the Anthropic stuff going on with their models right now, and the fact that the White House is getting in classifying AI as weapons grade stuff now. That's wild. We're going to talk about that. Because of AI, VPS price hikes have been kicked up, so we are going to be talking about some of the new pricing schemes for VPSs. I'm going to talk more about Claude a little bit specifically, especially the way they're changing their pricing model. They were talking about making a change on June 15th that they backed off. We're going to get into that news because I'm a big fan of Anthropic. I use Claude more than any other AI model. I'll talk about that later. UniFi dropped a brand new ZFS NAS, and we're going to talk all about that. I'm going to talk about some of the new hardware I have coming in for UniFi. I am giddy like a schoolgirl about some of the stuff that's coming in. Some of you guys know that I run Fedora 44. That's my daily driver. It was just released this month, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the release, the new version of Fedora, the new version of Proxmox out there, 9.2 coming out. I'm going to go all in on Plex later. You're going to hear me just unload about the $750 per year, well, not per year, like lifetime, I think it is, like price hike for Plex. It's just ridiculous. So we'll talk about that later. State of the Fin came out end of last month. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit about PewDiePie's Odysseus release for AI. I did a video on that. You guys have probably seen it already. But we're going to, I want to get more thoughts from you guys now that we're going to be live together. I'm going to go into the Pangolin versus Netbird war. I cannot be happier that these two companies are trying to consistently one-up each other. This is the golden age of VPNs. We'll get into that. I also want to talk about some of the Discord replacements. So I've seen in the very newest, like you guys can see here, Self-Host Weekly, June 19th, he talks about Fluxer. This is not the only Discord replacement I've seen come across my radar. We're going to talk about this one. We're going to talk about another one because I really think that very soon they're going to be a legitimately viable alternative to Discord. So let's start by talking about the blog because you guys love reading so much, right? Everybody reads. This is the Servers at Home blog, and you may not even know it exists. It's part of the ecosphere. Oh, hold on, wait, I messed that up. Let me come back over here to my live stream notes. That was not good. Let's come over here. If you guys come to Servers at Home, this is the main landing page. You'll see there's a latest news tab, and this is like the little blog thing here. It just pipes into the main page, just like we have a latest videos tab. You can see that. there's the main page for servers at home, just like kind of a landing page and a jump off point for all about this stuff. Anyway, blog. So let's jump in here. Let's come back to this is the first article that I'm going to talk about in case you haven't seen this before. This is an article I wrote. Oh, by the way, the blog is completely written by me. None of this is AI. Like this picture is obviously AI. I didn't build this, but every word in here is me. I use AI to help me with some of the sourcing. So you'll see here, like after I write something up, I'll use Claude to link it to the source where I got the information that I'm writing from. But none of this is AI generated. These are all my own words. And these are my AI generated basically little overheads, little slides that were made after I wrote this. So I'll write it and then I'll feed this into Claude, and then Claude will give me some visuals to help you guys understand what I'm saying if you're more visual people. But long story short, yeah, there's been some changes. Let's look at Nextcloud made this announcement recently. Come on, nextcloud.com. Here we go. Talking about EuroOffice. I want to know what you guys are using for your office suites right now. How many people here, like, I want to say, I should start a poll in the chat, are using, like, Microsoft 365? If you are, like, just let me know so I can just, I'm kidding, don't let me know. I mean, yeah, let me know. I want to know. I'm not going to make fun of you. But, like, yeah, we need to get off Microsoft. That's the, as an open source advocate, the way I am, as being a Linux free open source software guy, I truly believe that Microsoft is a real challenge to the world because it just keeps getting worse. Like, arguably, it just keeps getting worse. There's no doubt about that. I don't like it. I don't think a lot of people like it. That's the thing. I don't think anybody likes Microsoft. I think people have been using it so long and don't realize there's alternatives out there that they really don't know that, like, there are other things that work for Office Suites. And not just Office Suites and, like, you think, oh, just like word processing software. It's like, no, like collaborative, like Google Docs level kind of stuff. Now, again, I just said I'm a huge open source fan. I do kind of have a soft spot for Google, only in comparison to Microsoft, not in comparison to like Nextcloud. I think everything open source is basically better than anything that harvests your data and sells it for money. So I'm not here just advocating for Google, but if I had to choose between Google and Microsoft, Google all day. If I had to choose anything, I will tell you I had the video launch. Oh, let's look at oh God, this keeps, every time I hit T for new tab over here, it opens up a new tab on my show notes, and that's not what I want to do. There you go. My channel. So you guys have seen the videos that came out recently. In case you haven't, again, there's a bunch of stuff out here, but I did the EuroOffice video, which is doing actually quite well. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think that many people were interested in this, but it turned out to be a really hot topic right now. But long story short, I already have integrated EuroOffice into my Nextcloud, so that's what I'm using. In the video, I show you the live collaborative editing. I show a lot of the back end to it. I actually did the code diff between this and OnlyOffice, which is basically what it's forked from. OnlyOffice itself is basically a clone of a Russian collaborative office suite. So do with that what you will. There's been some comments about that and some comments going both ways. So I thought it was really, the running joke is that right now, in case you haven't kept up with it, EuroOffice is kind of funny because in order to get away from American like tech dominance, Europe ran right into the arms of Russia. So that's kind of the running joke right now. But it is really truly all completely open source. So even though I'm making kind of light of that fact, this is a truly open source software, which is completely different than Google, completely different than Microsoft. So I want to almost do a, can I do a poll here? How do I do this? Let's start a poll. Here, my question is going to be, I'm going to create a poll in the chat right now. How many, I don't even say how many, I'm going to say what office suite are you using? And it's not going to be a yes, no, it's going to be, I'm going to say Office 365 is going to be my first option. I'm going to do LibreOffice as the second one. And then I'm going to do, let's do OnlyOffice. For the third, I'm going to do another option for EuroOffice. And then I'm going to do another one for like, I know I can only do 4. Okay, we'll do that. We'll start this poll. So I'm going to start that poll in the chat. I'm just curious what you guys use for this. Again, I've already integrated EuroOffice into Nextcloud. I want to see how it's going. Before that, I was using Collabra. I think a lot of people use Collabra, and I really kind of like it. I liked it because it was great. The big problem is, in case you haven't read, let's jump back over here. We're here. If you haven't read this article yet, the big story behind this, and the reason that I'm nervous about LibreOffice, which is what I use as my actual desktop editor, is the LibreOffice, the people that are building LibreOffice were mainly just fired. Like, that's mainly built by people who were part of the Document Foundation. The Document Foundation went through this whole thing, and again, you can read all about this, but TDF, the Document Foundation, is the people that are basically in charge of LibreOffice, Collabora, all these other things that are out there. They had some fights with some people there, and there was a bunch of people that were basically coding them. So the 47 Collabora employees wrote about 43% of the code, and they were booted, basically. So 30 Collabora staff and partners, including 7 of the 10 most prolific coders, were ousted on April Fool's Day. That really did happen. So basically the core coding people of Collabora and LibreOffice, basically, I think. Because I think this is also, yeah, LibreOffice contributors. Yeah, these guys were gone. So now I'm like, oh, I use LibreOffice. Like, now that all the coders are gone, what's going to happen? So I don't think the project's going to get worse. I just don't know if it's going to keep up. So I'm still using LibreOffice on my desktop to like edit stuff. I think it's great. I'm on Fedora right now streaming this, so I could actually. Do I want to share that? Let's do that. Let's do that. Word. So in case you've never seen LibreOffice, all right, this is gonna be a flashbang, guys. It's gonna be a little bright, so everybody just be careful. All right, yeah, go. Not that. Come here. Come here. There we go. This is LibreOffice. I think it's awesome. I use it all the time. I use this is their Word editor. They have a spreadsheet. They have a like PowerPoint, etc., etc. I like it. I don't see any problems with it. I have had no issues. And the only thing that it kind of bothers me a little bit about it, let me close this, it's super bright. The only thing that bothers me about it sometimes is because everybody else I know uses Microsoft, uses the OOMXML, whatever format default that it is, the XLSXS, the DocX format, all those formats, right? Those sometimes look a little funny in LibreOffice when I open them. If you use only Office or EuroOffice, one of the big strengths of those are everything in Microsoft looks the same there. So if you have an issue with like using or opening Microsoft Office generated stuff on your Office suite, like open only Office or EuroOffice might actually be something you really like. Like I said, I'm using it in Nextcloud. I think it's cool. The video that I did is good. It covers the topic pretty well. This EuroOffice one. So in case you haven't seen that, let me go ahead and grab the share link. I'm going to put this in the chat just in case you haven't seen it yet. Strongly recommend. I cover just about everything you're going to want to know about it. And of course, the blog posts accompany that. So if you want to get the deep dive, go ahead and read all the research I did. You can follow all the links to look at all the sources yourself so you can trust but verify. So that's kind of what's going on with EuroOffice. I'm fascinated to see how it goes. I love the fact that Europe right now is like, we don't want anything to do with American closed source tech that sells our information for money. Because I also want nothing to do with that. So I'm like, this is interesting as I see France and Germany and Belgium, all these places that are moving off of Windows and off of Office 365. I'm over here at my pom-poms just cheering. I can't be more thrilled about that. I want to see everybody divest themselves and us to have a true second option besides Microsoft. And I don't think Google is a true second option, by the way, in case you're wondering where I stand on that. I think Google's a better option, but that's only marginally better. You're picking like the lesser of two evils there. All right, looking at the chat, there's a bunch of good stuff in here. I want to continue to just keep referencing the chat, because again, we're here to, I don't want to talk at you, I want to talk with you. XIMIL Zimmelnet? I don't know how to pronounce that. I use Nextcloud hosted on my server. The only time I use Windows is to play Rust because of anti-cheat. Even phone, I don't use Android. I use Graphene. Oh, sir, I want to give you a hand clap for that. I want to move to Graphene. I'm on a Pixel. I'm like this close to going to Graphene. If Android messes with the Android store and like I can't sideload anymore in like a way that's pretty straightforward or easy, I'm gonna flip out and go to Graphene. Like that's what's gonna happen. Case closed. Java, 100% Linux FOSS at home. Sadly, employer uses MS365. Yeah, my employer kind of does that. I'm going to talk about my employer later because I work for a small startup and I got super blessed, so I shouldn't complain about them. They're great. My boss is actually an amazing dude. But yeah, no, we're definitely on the Microsoft side on that. The biggest problem I see work-wise, man, is this is the problem. This is why I love what Europe is doing. if you want to be an open source guy, but you work at a company that's not, even if your company is open source, most other companies aren't. So as soon as you want to do something, everybody's like, let's jump on a Teams meeting. And I'm like, I never want to see Microsoft Teams again. If I could burn Microsoft Teams to the ground right now, I would totally do it. Like, just give me, where's the button? I do not like Microsoft Teams. So I'm challenged with the fact that even if you want to be an open source guy, and even if you get your company to be open source and get off of that, as soon as you start interacting with other companies in a B2B fashion, everybody's already on this corporate platform of Outlook, Teams, or Zoom. And Zoom's not terrible, but I mean, like, oh God, there's so many options. There's so many options, and it's a real shame that we need more. You know what we need? We need more people like you guys. I know my audience pretty well. I have all the YouTube. Like, if I go to my YouTube channel, I show you guys like the dashboard. It shows me all the demographics. Basically, everybody on this channel, and not everybody, but a large, subset of them are my 35 to 44-year-old white guy working W-2 in an IT field kind of clones. We need more people like us, you, me, out there working for big companies and trying to do what Europe is doing, like convincing them to go more and more open source. This way, as I deal with other companies that have open source alternatives or something like that, we can start connecting on a more open source to open source level instead of us all just jumping on Teams meetings and complaining about how much we hate Microsoft. Like, hard to complain about how much we hate Microsoft as we keep using their products. That's my soapbox. But yeah, anyway, back to the chat. All right, Joe Schmo, both only Office M365 because I pay for it and have a family plan that others use. I would love to rid my entire ecosystem family of microslop. Agreed. Your Office is too new. I get that. I get that it's new. Like I said, I'm running on Nextcloud right now. I'm not running a massive amount of users through my Nextcloud, so I'm not so worried. If there's a little bit of glitches here or there, it's not the end of the world. It's small. We will see whether or not it's going to be stand up to, like, again, the thing I like about it is this is huge. It's a one-click plug-in to Nextcloud. I demonstrated that on the video, and a massive contingent of certain countries are moving to this. So as more and more whole countries put weight on the system, I expect to see it get very strong. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be the case. French government is 100% on Nextcloud right now. Yeah, love that. Look what USA did with Anthropic Mythos. We're going to get to that. The USA decided that you can't access the AI. What if all American AIs become export restricted? Yeah, we're going to get into that. Actually, then that's the next topic as I'm looking at my show notes. But the problem is most of us doers, we don't have enough doers at the top because they can't afford to promote most of us. We are definitely worth more than we're being paid for. I'll tell you that. Anybody on this channel, anybody that's really digging into that home labbing, and you guys have your own little like dev playgrounds in your basements or in your homes or in your clouds. Yeah, like the amount of value add that we bring to companies is staggering. I don't think people realize that. And I tell this to my friends all the time when they ask me like what I do, and I'm like, oh no, I'm a solutions architect over this company, and they're like, what is that? And I pretty much tell them all the things I do, and like, man, it's a lot of different things. Like, because in tech, you have to wear a lot of hats. You have to be a networking person. You have to be a hardware and software person. You have to be a cloud person. You have to be a cybersecurity person. Now you have to be an AI person. You're basically everyone's tech support, because as soon as someone finds out you know how to reset an email password or reset a password, you're done for. Everything that goes wrong is now going to land squarely on your desk. So I don't even care if you're not even the tech person at your job. It's just going to happen. So yeah, it's a huge amount of value add that we bring to companies, and I don't think people realize that always. But let's talk about, we're going to talk about some of the drama right now, considering we're talking about the chat, the Mythos and Fable drama. This was the statement that was, now this is Anthropic's. Here's the fun part about this, in case anyone's not aware of what's going on. If you've never heard of Mythos, I'm going to just really quickly just sum up a whole bunch of stuff right now. If you've never heard of Mythos, Mythos is what they call a 5th generation model. Anthropic calls a 5th generation model. So if you're using like Opus or Sonnet right now, like most of us, those are really, really good models. But they're what's called frontier models. They're basically up there with like ChatGPT 5.5 and like Gemini 3.5, I think it is now, Flash. Those are all on the same level. Mythos is like a head and shoulders above that. And Anthropic was realizing that it has really good like pen testing power. So when they started working with Mythos, it started finding just huge amounts of holes and things. Like OpenBSD was hacked. You guys understand? Like if you know anything about like Linux, OpenBSD is literally supposed to be the most secure operating system in the world, and it found like a bug even in that current. I was like, it's getting embarrassing how good Mythos is. Which is good and bad. It's good because all of our software soon is going to be way better than it was before. It's bad because until we get there, there's going to be this fun time where people that know how to use these and have access to models like this are going to just be hacking the world. So, yeah. Um, oh, yeah, Texas Rascal. My company's in deep with Anthropic, and that press release did our stocks no favor this week. Yeah. So, anyways, I agreed. I'm gonna talk about the stock and that whole thing in a minute. So, Mythos gets released anyway, and originally, Anthropic says, "Hey, this is so dangerous. We're gonna start this thing called Project Glasswing." And I loved the tech links. I think it was update the thing that Linus Media Group puts out with Riley Murdoch. It's basically Riley was just like, yeah, this is like the Justice League of nerds. Basically, is Project Glasswing. It's like a bunch of companies out there, the big companies you've heard of, that got early access to Mythos, so they can basically pen test their own software with it and then patch it before everybody else gets Mythos and can attack them with it. So Glasswing went out, a bunch of companies are using it, went really well, and then Fable came out. Fable is basically the handicapped version of Mythos. Mythos is like wide open, will hack anything. Basically, like what do they call those types of models on like Hugging Face? Obliterated. So it's basically an obliterated model, no guardrails whatsoever. Fable's got guardrails. At least it was supposed to. So some people found out how to basically prompt hack, I guess, this, or do some kind of like jailbreak workaround to basically turn Fable into Mythos. And then Anthropic was like, oh no, that's not good. We released Fable because it was supposed to not be Mythos. It was supposed to be this 5th generation, really, really powerful model. And they released it. And I was using it. I actually use Claude a lot for work. And I was using Fable, loved it. It was wonderful. I thought it was great. And then like 2 days later, I get the message in my Claude code prompt that, hey, like your model, which was selected as Fable, is now not available. So boom. So anyway, what had happened was, and this is the problem, right? We have the White House's statements and Anthropic statements, and like we have timelines that are like, oh, I called this person at this time and they didn't answer. The White House pretty much said, hey, we got news that Fable 5 has been jailbroken and it's in the wild, so you need to turn this off. And Claude was like, well, Anthropic in this case, was like, we're working on it. And the White House was like, we're going to need you to do this now, even though it's 9 p.m. at night. And Anthropic didn't do much, and they kind of dragged their feet on it a little bit. And finally, the White House kind of stepped in and was like, not saying Anthropic wasn't going to do something, but they were just not moving in the way that the White House really wanted them to. Backstory to that, Anthropic has been putting its foot in its mouth at the White House and with this administration for a while because this administration wanted to use Claude to kill people. And I don't mean that like, I shouldn't have said that out loud because YouTube is probably going to flag this now. The administration wants to put AI into warfare. They want to use AI to put it in what they call the kill chain, so they can start conducting warfare using AI. And Anthropic was like, we're not doing that. We're flat out not doing that. Now, at the time, Anthropic did have contracts with the United States government, and they're doing a lot of damage control now because obviously President Trump is very upset that he's just not getting that Anthropic's not getting with the program. So of course, when this whole thing dropped with Fable and Mythos, they're already on hot water, and them just not doing what the White House wanted. The White House was straight up like, oh, you want to play games? We'll make this a basically weapons grade, like export controlled commodity now. So now you need to verify everybody that's using it. And I think that's in here somewhere. So what ended up happening was, again, this is Anthropic's article, so it's a little bit one-sided. What ended up happening was the White House put exports control on it, and now Anthropic was like, well, wait, I don't know who's using this. Like, we give this to anybody that has a subscription. We don't basically do KYC to figure out who's a foreign national and who's not. So they couldn't verify who actually is using Fable after it was put under export control. So they cut us all off. So again, a few days ago, I don't know how many days ago it was, I was coding and I got this problem that, from my Claude code console that Fable 5 is not longer available. And then I checked the, little like learn more link from Anthropic. And yeah, this is what happened. Let's jump in the chat to see what you guys have to say about that. Just absolutely wild. Let's drag this over here a little bit. No, don't make it bigger. Come down a little bit. Come down a little bit more. There we go. There we go. All right. You have to love government. They're the same mindset. Yeah. So let's start here with Texas Rascal. So this obviously did not go well in the news for everybody. Especially Anthropic. Their war with the government is not great. it's never a good idea to go to war with the government of the country you live in. If this was like Anthropic was like running to some other country and it wasn't an American-based product, like sure, then you can do what you want. But as long as you operate out of America, it's best not to piss off the president because he will come after you, and this one does. So yeah, maybe if I can give the president of Anthropic any advice, it's like you tread lightly because this administration is different than any other administration. So yeah, there's flaws in everything. Jago 6. It's not foolproof, and of course someone figured it out. So that's the case here. These AI giants think they know better than the rest of us. Invested orgs, was Linux Foundation in Glasswing? That's a great question. I believe Linux Foundation was. I have to look. I do not remember. There's a big list of Project Glasswing companies. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. Dude, I make the Terminator joke now all the time about Skynet because, like, this is, like, when I saw the newer Terminator, right? The one that was, like, talking about how, like, I forget which one it was. Like, not, like, the one after T2, not T3, maybe it was T3. It was the first modern one they made where it takes place in, like, the quote-unquote modern day, and they show you how, like, Skynet happened. Like, it ended in Skynet. That was the end of the movie. So I forget how that ended up happening. But the end of the movie was like the entire world being nuked by, AI. Like, I thought that was really interesting because when you first watch Terminator 2 and you see like Judgment Day come and they talk about Skynet taking over, I was like, James Cameron is crazy, man. This is so far-fetched. This will never happen. And like little by little, I watch people who grew up in the time that they would have seen Terminator 2 and understand like how we got to the place where like it's war against the machines, do exactly what they did in the movie. Like, which I'm just like, you must be kidding me, right? Like this is literally, they're joking, right? Like they really want AI in the kill chain. Like didn't they watch the movie? Like, we know how this ends. Now, mind you, of course, it's a movie. It's not real, but the more people test with AI, the more it looks like it could very well be real. That could happen. We should never, ever give AI charge of our weapon systems. We should be very careful when putting AI on the wide open internet and letting it just hack things. So I kind of get where the White House comes from in terms of the Mythos control. I also get the fact that here's the fun bottom line. I'm going to read a few more of these too in a minute. Hold on. Humans are AI fly, no one's above that. Yep. All these AI comments won't have to get to. Agreed. Best intentions. With the best of intentions, the world will end. Yeah, I totally agree with that a little bit. All right, let me pull this chat out. So yeah, that I all agree with that. So here's the funny part. When I was looking into Mythos, I got really nervous. Especially when Project Glasswing was announced, I was like, man, this is looking really crazy right now. So I started doing a real deep dive on it, and it turned out that Mythos is not the only model that can do this. In fact, the way that Mythos hacked was basically just stringing existing hacks together. Now, mind you, it has a huge context window. It has the advanced ability to do some things, but like people, once they understood like the way that Mythos was working under the hood, made other open source models that you can get right now from Hugging Face like work in that way and get similar results. So I thought that was really interesting. I watched like Wendell's breakdown on it from Level 1 Techs and his new like weekly updates he's doing on his YouTube channel. He did a really good job by just talking about the fact that like Mythos is not like this one trick pony, this unicorn. It was the first major 5th gen model to use this type of exploitation chain, and now that exploitation chain is like popular, other models are using it with almost the same level of success. So like for all the talk about gating Fable and like Mythos and Glasswing, like if you really, I'm not going to tell you how to do this, but if you really wanted to get like the Mythos penetration testing type of hacking in there, like you could probably go to certain parts of the internet and learn how to do this in a few hours without access to Fable or Mythos. So all this to say, this is possible even without Fable. So yeah. Idiocracy was just a movie, and now we're living with UFC fights on the White House lawn. Yeah, I'm just not even. I have no words. Okay, let's talk about the effect that I'm going to talk about more thing before I talk about this. If I go to the next topic, the Anthropic pauses the Claude Agent SDK subscription change on date was due to take effect. This is a big deal for me. I'll tell you one of the ways that. Java. To be honest, you think that foreign models can't do the same? Be real. Yeah, and all for real, that's the case. Foreign models can do this. Our poll is going well. I'm gonna get back to our poll in a minute in the chat. I'm gonna hit this topic, hit one more topic, and then we'll jump back. Anthropic pauses the Claude Agent SDK subscription change. The way that they were going to change this, in case you don't know anything about this, in case you're a big Claude user, because I am, Basically, you can use this agent SDK inside Claude. So say, for example, like I code a website, right? And my website has got like talk to the AI bot in like the little side thing, right? Usually you need like an API key to talk to the bot. But what you can do with the Claude Agent SDK is I can say, hey, whatever container's running the website on like my Linux LXC, use the existing Claude Code subscription I have and use that to power the chatbot. And that doesn't count against my API tokens. That just counts against my token usage for my subscription. And if you don't know anything about AI, subscription token usage is way cheaper than API token usage. So Anthropic was going to change this and make the change for June 15th and say from now on, we are going to start charging you for the Claude Agent SDK in a different way. Not API, but kind of similar. And then they backed off that. So I was like, victory. I'm really happy about that. That was thrilling. It's okay. Now, I don't know if any of you guys care about that. I care deeply about that because it makes a huge difference for me. Let's talk about some of the effects of the AI war out there right now. This is the blog for Racknerd. I love Racknerd. Full disclosure, I have affiliate links. All these links that you see here in the wiki are affiliate links. As you see here, I want you guys again read. Use one of the affiliate links. Affiliate link. Just want to make sure you see that because YouTube makes me make sure you guys know it's an affiliate link. This is the pricing right now. I was furious because I've been promoting this for a while, and this one right here used to be $9 a year, or like $11 a year. Now it's $21. I have a 2.2 box that I use in the cloud. I don't just promote Racknerd. I use it. This is why I like it. Like I use it every day. I don't ever recommend products to you guys that I'm not actively using. Nobody, I mean nobody gets to sponsor content. Well, I shouldn't say nobody gets to sponsor content. We have done one sponsored piece for something I'm not using. I'll get to that in a minute. But none of the stuff that I recommend to you guys, the stuff that I got paid to recommend to you guys, I was actively using them and then I started recommending them. So in case you wonder how that works, the one exception to that was what's that one? The little box thing that pops up. Spaces. There's one thing that I got paid to make in one video. I'll have to dig back. Either way, it's clearly labeled as promotional. I'll have to dig back for it, but it was the little VMs that you spin up on the fly that I use the Proxmox integration for, and of course the name escapes me right now. Someone in the chat's probably gonna be like, "Oh, you made it about this." I'm like, "Yeah, that was sponsored content. It's the only thing that's ever been sponsored that I don't use daily. Everything else is a daily use." Back to the topic. Prices doubled. And they didn't tell me. So I was furious. I emailed Rackner and I was like, what in God's name is happening right now? I am an affiliate. I have affiliate links on my wiki. All my links were dead for like 3 weeks before I basically caught on. Long story short. All my links were dead. And then I went back and rebuilt the links and I was like, where's all my old deals? And why is everything so expensive? And the answer is AI. AI is the answer for why everything. If you're wondering why anything in tech is expensive right now, hard drives, memory, VPSs, I don't know what else. It's AI is the answer. AI is the reason everything is expensive. It's just it's ridiculous. So these are the new deals. And the crazy part is even these prices are still some of the best prices around, which is insane to me. I said I emailed them. I just got an email back like 20 minutes before I went live from the guys at Racknerd who handle the people like me who have affiliate links and that are basically pumping their product for them. Yeah, no, they were like, sorry about that, but due to like AI things, that's literally what they said, due to AI and the cost of newer hardware acquisition, the new prices going forward are like this. So if you're already on one of the old plans like I am, I'm going to be able to renew at my old price. But if you start a new one, you're going to be at this price. Now, mind you, these are still good prices. I still stand behind Racknerd in terms of pricing and what they're offering. I'm just so mad that AI doubled my prices basically overnight. Also, Hetzner increased their prices. Where's the other one? Here's Hetzner. Hetzner increased their prices. So this is the announcement from Hetzner. As soon as cdn.hetzner.com serves this content. There we go. So they made an adjustment effective 15 June. So this is 4 days ago as of the time of this broadcast. So yeah, they changed their pricing as well. Their pricing is pretty good. If I didn't have Racknerd, I'd probably be on Hetzner. It's like, Joe Schmo, Racknerd is great. I use them for a few VPSs. Sorry, I use Pangolin's link. I'm going to talk about Pangolin later. I'm totally okay with that. I love Pangolin. I love what they're doing. I'm going to talk about them in NetBird later. I'm glad to use somebody's link. I'm glad somebody got blessed by that. So thank you so much, Joe Schmo, for using someone's link. But yeah, Hetzner is what I would use in the event that I didn't use Racknerd. It's probably the next best option out there. Some people would argue it's a better option. That's up for grabs as an opinion, kind of. We'd have to really, I don't want to start a war about that, but Hesno is really good, but they also increased their prices. And if you don't know anything about any other VPSs, everybody has increased their prices. So I'm kind of upset about that. Yeah, it's just the era that we live in. Unfortunately, we are in the era of AI just sucking up everything from upstream providers. So now we all pay more money for stuff. So long story short, pray nothing you have breaks. Like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, please God, nothing break. Because if I have to replace DDR4 RAM right now, even DDR4, even DDR4 is still kind of going up. DDR5, there's no hope. Hard drives, I'm like, oh God, good luck with that. Everything in mine just needs to keep working. If anything breaks, I'm just going to cry. Let's go back to the chat real fast. Rakuten was great, isn't for yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can get better pricing for Rakuten if you search for the New Year's specials. These are the New Year's specials, by the way. These are the best specials out there. The old New Year's specials were decommissioned, and that's what I was talking about being mad about, because my old links were the old New Year's specials. Super mad. Yeah, anyway, Texas Rascal. I just refuse to pay for AI since apparently I have to pay for it to live now. Agreed. Yeah, that's a thing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my job here in a minute because I'm going to be talking about some new hardware that I'm getting, but I'm really blessed by my boss because he understands the value that I bring in and understands the value of having a home lab. One of the things that we do before we deploy anything to the office is we'll set it up in somebody's basically home lab and we'll test it there for a few months. And if it, gets past that, then we'll deploy it into basically our prod environment. So I got some new fun stuff coming in. And UniFi's been making some changes. Let's head over to UI Store. I'm going to show you guys some fun stuff that I'm going to be deploying soon that I'm really excited about. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Let's go to, is it advanced hosting, I think, or accessories? It might be advanced hosting. When do they start doing this? Weird. Let's go to the 5G. This guy. So I got one of these coming, and I have a 10 gig switch coming. So I'm going to start playing with this. UniFi made this announcement a while ago that they were basically going to release this. And this is this little cool dongle stick. It just takes an eSIM or physical SIM. As you see me scrolling through it here, here's your little wired PoE port on the bottom to turn it on. And it just gives you really cool, let me flashbang a little bit. Yeah, I'll just let that kind of spin. That was cool. All right, so yeah, this little cool device just takes a real SIM or an eSIM and gives you 5G backup. And the way it works, and which I think is really cool, is that it works with automatic high availability failover. So I already have FiOS, and I love them. I do get occasional outages. It's not major, but if they're occasional. So I run some backup stuff from my job out of my home lab in my basement. And none of it's in production, but it's used for backup. And it's really cool because in the event that we have a major outage, my backup stuff can actually function as the primary. It's never a good idea to do that, but we have it set up just in case of a major issue. Where my company mainly deploys to AWS, so we don't see a ton of outages, but if anyone thinks that AWS doesn't have outages, you're wrong. AWS absolutely goes down. So that's happened before. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to deploy one of these in my house, and then I'm going to test it. I'm going to do the exact failover test that I want to perform. I'm going to take down a part of our prod. Well, I have a dev box in prod, so I can take down just the part of prod that's our developer environment in prod, if that makes any sense. And then I'm going to make it fail over to my house. Once it fails over to my house, I'm going to pull my internet out of my main router, and then I'm going to force it to fail over to the 5G backup. The really cool part about UniFi that I like is that this is basically seamless and it's so easy. I'm told, and I'll give you guys an update on this next time, when I plug this in, the UniFi software basically adopts it and sets the service level agreement, the SLA, automatically so that the router understands that it's going to put 100% of traffic through my FiOS unless my FiOS doesn't work, and then it's automatically going to route 100% of my traffic through my 5G backup. And once my FiOS comes back online, it's going to switch back to my FiOS. That should be literally like a one-click or less than one-click operation on UniFi. And that's kind of why I like it. It definitely takes a lot of the super difficult understanding how to do this kind of thing out of it. They make it just crazy simple. And of course it has to be because my boss is a project manager, CEO he's a CEO, but I mean he doesn't do the hardcore tech stuff that I do. That's why he hired me. I do the hardcore tech stuff. So for me having to do this in one click, I can show my boss this and he can be like, oh, that's so easy, I can do it. I'm like, that's right, but don't touch anything. So that's my plan. So I have one of these coming from my house, and he bought me a new 10 gig switch because my switch is dying. Let's come back to the blog. Actually, I'll show you something. Is the blog even still open? I don't think it is. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. I switched some stuff up. This is not what my rack looks like anymore. I changed all this stuff up here to all UniFi gear, and it's all 3D printed. I gotta show you guys a new picture. I'll get you an update, but this is the work stuff that I do. This little digibox and what's in this drawer that I can't talk about. This is all my work stuff. So all of these, so this switch, this 48 port switch was replaced with the UniFi. This router, this Verizon router up here is replaced with UniFi Gateway Max. This is the piece that's dying. This is my 10 gig backbone, and it's on its way out. It's a Netgear ProSafe something. It's, I don't know, it's in the wiki if you want, and then the blog I mean post if you want to get the model number, but it's dying. It's a tank. It's still working, but I basically asked my boss, said, hey, I need to replace this, and he went and got me. I'll show you guys what we ended up going with. Switching. 10 gig. We went with one of these. So I got super blessed because this is way more money than I would have ever spent on a router. But this guy is got the ether lighting, and there's 8. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it said 8 10 gig PoE++ ports, and I got the SFP link if I need it, which I'm not going to use. I don't use any fiber in my house. Everything is Ethernet. But this is what we bumped to. So I got one of these, and I got the 5G coming. So my plan is to start running that together and actually practice high availability failover and see how that works. But I'm super excited about that. I'm also really excited about just unifying. Let me close some of these tabs. A billion tabs open right now. Enterprise NAS. I'm also really excited about UniFi releasing this. My big problem with UniFi NASs before this was the fact that they don't run ZFS. And I'll be honest with you, once you learn about the ZFS system, ZFS is amazing. ZFS is the only file system I'll ever trust with my data long term, just because it was built with data integrity in mind. And when you start digging into ZFS more and understanding it, you'll understand why it's so amazing. I'm gonna open the blog again. Oh my god, I just did it again. Blog. This is what I talked about. This is the last article I wrote. The smart isn't that smart. This talks about. This is mainly to address the issue with smart testing being removed in the TrueNAS 25.10 and 26 beta and eventually 26 UI. There is no smart testing GUI button anymore. It's still in there, but this article covers all of that stuff. What smart testing actually did, what ZFS actually does, and it talks about ZFS and why ZFS is kind of incredible. I put these really cool little. I'm starting to get better using AI, of course, to generate these things so you guys can see a little bit of more visuals instead of just reading blocks of text. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. But ZFS can do some really cool stuff. Come in here and read this article. ZFS will tell you all about why it's amazing. Like why having your data on ZFS in like a mirror or a RAID Z1 is actually kind of cool, as your hard drive may die or maybe just has bad blocks or maybe something gets written poorly. Like ZFS can actually heal that. Like fix your data in real time, like completely invisibly. That's what makes it amazing. So when I saw that UniFi is releasing a NAS that's built on native ZFS, I was like, this is one of the things I was waiting for. One of the things I'm not waiting for is its price. I can't do that. I love UniFi, but I'm not Techno Tim. I do not have 1 million people on my YouTube channel. We're about to crack 30K, so thank you for everybody that follows me on YouTube. Like that's amazing. Obviously, you do. You're here right now on this live stream, but really excited about the growth that we're having. Maybe one day I'll be one of these YouTubers with like 500,000 or 1 million followers, but it's. In the meantime, I basically used AI to set up a scraper for r/homelab sales as well as B&H Photo. So when stuff goes on sale, I can just get it from other home labbers, or I can get it from Micro Center when stuff goes open box there. I can't afford to buy UniFi new. Like all my UniFi stuff is either open box or used, or in this one case, my boss got it for me so we can test it at my house before we move some stuff to the office. But this is really cool. Enterprise class NAS built on ZFS. Huge amount of capacity. Don't ask me how you're able to fill that in this day and age with hard drives, but yeah, just really incredible. I'm thrilled when UniFi builds new stuff like this. I think what they're doing is amazing. I love their UI. You can see the software here in terms of managing it. It's super cool. I couldn't be happy to be part of the UniFi family, and I'm not saying that because they're paying me, because they're not. I wish they were paying me. I wish I was like I had a partner, or had like a contact there, like a purchase person. I don't. UniFi doesn't even know I exist. I'm just a big fan. Anyway, let's do some more chat stuff. Let's see what we're at here. God, my little thing wants to just keep doing that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, just lost a 10 terabyte hard drive. I feel bad for you, sir. My hard drives are still like the old 4 terabytes ones I got like years and years and years ago. They're still my Seagate X. No, they're Iron Wolves. They're still going strong. Yeah, love it. Just give UniFi another $1,000 last night. They own mine. UniFi owns me at this point. I'm really Looking forward to it. Let me know, Texas Rascal, what you think, because mine might. I don't think mine's gonna be here by Monday. So let me know what you think when you get it. I'm considering how to downscale my home product to the minimum and maximize my existing hardware investment next 2 to 3 years. Yep, I totally get that. Happen to have full time just by tanking yet, dude. You can. I'll tell you what. If there's another blog post that I wrote called where's it in here? It's 10J. Where is it at? I'll show you because like I thought 2.5 was good, and then I was like, all right, who needs 10 gigabit? So I wrote this article called "Who Needs 10 Gigabit," and this just talks about like what it looks like to do basic speed with like basic HDDs, not even SSDs. And I will tell you that like, yeah, you can saturate at 2.5 gig like nothing these days. Like, so for example, my setup right now, I'll show you why. I'll show you why that makes a difference. So my desktop connecting to my TrueNAS, of course, I want to be 10 gig because I transfer files. But also, like this is my this one right here is my Proxmox server, and this is my TrueNAS server, and they talk to each other a lot because I use basically TrueNAS for the virtual hard drives on my LXCs and my VMs on Proxmox. So that being a 10 gig backbone is like non-negotiable. 2.5 gigs would throttle me from the hard drive access. Right now, my limit is SSD read and write speed, not my internet. So if I were to drop to 2.5, the bottleneck would be the internet, would be the connection between the two servers. So I can't ever go below 10, even for like, oh, that's SSD speed, but like even for HDDs, you should be a little bit above 2.5. And of course the next jump is 10. If you have an NVMe and you really wanted your NVMe to be the bottleneck, if just in case you guys have never done this math, just to know how ridiculously fast hard drives have gotten and how fast IO has gotten on the motherboards themselves, to saturate the full read and write speed of like a really high-end NVMe drive, you would need like either 40 or 100 gigabit. I think it's like 100 gigabit internet, like just something ridiculous like that. So like 10 gig is as high as I'll go because I don't want to run fiber. But yeah, if you're on like anything slower than 10 gig, you're probably bottlenecking in your internet, in your network connection, not your hard drive. Where'd that go? There we go. I have so many scrapers for UniFi. Great, yeah. Oh, dude, scrapers for UniFi here. I didn't start doing the scrapers, and so mine did pay off. So I ended up getting Texas Rascal. I got a UniFi travel router, right? Because those things were out of stock all the time, and I was taking vacation with my wife, and I was like, man, I really want to try the UniFi travel router out. I want to have that in the hotel, so when I come back in, all of our devices automatically just connect to the Wi-Fi like I'm at home. And I get my super cool like tunnel connection, so I can just get to my local LAN without having to fire up my netbird. And firing up netbird's not the end of the world. I kind of like it, but it just made things a lot more seamless. And I couldn't get one because they're out of stock all the time. I had a scraper set up for r/homelab sales, specifically looking for that, and I caught one. And now, mind you, that scraper had to run like every 5 minutes. Like, dude, I was hitting the YouTube RSS feed like nothing. I can't believe they didn't blacklist my IP. But yeah, no, if that was on anything that anybody that listed a unified travel router on r/homelab sales for more than 5 minutes, like that was sold instantaneously. So I got mine because some very kind individual sold it for what he bought it for. So I paid like $90 because I paid like 80 or 85 plus shipping or whatever it was. So I got mine for like a legitimate price, not like anything ridiculously just overpriced. And I liked it. It was good. Don't get me wrong. Like I see your comment. I like that it's a bag. Yeah, dude, I liked it. I was not as over the moon with it as I thought I was gonna be, but it's still cool. Like I'm still definitely gonna use it on all my vacations. I like the travel router, but that's the only way I got it was my scraper for r/homelab sales. I'll tell you another scraper I just set up that I love. I have one for Micro Center for my local Micro Center, which I love. That's great. And I have that not set. That's not just for UniFi. That's for any home lab gear. I'm monitoring like something like 51 different 51 different categories of Micro Center, watching for all the open box stuff that goes up. So I love that. I get an email every morning at 7 a.m. telling me about all the new open box stuff if I want to go pick it up. So I love that one. The r/homelab sales one is cool. I like that. And I just set up one for B&H Photo. Dude, I love buying UniFi gear from B&H Photo because they have free shipping. And unless you spend, like, I think there's some minimum you have to spend on UniFi to get free shipping. But either way, I usually do B&H because they're an authorized reseller, so I know I'm getting a legitimate product. They sell open box stuff, so my scraper is set up for the open box side of B&H Photo, and I love it. I just had it set up on N8N for the last couple days. It's been working really well. I'm a big fan. Big fan. So the UI care is pretty nice once you can afford the new pricing. I've used it twice. The customer support side is amazing. I haven't had to use the customer support side yet, but I'm hopefully not going to have to. This poll is doing pretty well. I just want to bring your attention to the chat. Office 365 winning at 43%. LibreOffice, not exactly a close second, but yeah, okay. I'm a LibreOffice guy. I should probably vote that. I didn't actually vote. How do I vote? I don't even think I can vote. Anyway, I use LibreOffice and I use NeuroOffice on Nextcloud now. So we're gonna see. I'll keep you guys updated with stuff so that you guys kind of keep track of my journey. I've been debating on using the blog just for like more like day-to-day thoughts. Like right now I've been using it for like more deep dives and like more technical articles, but I'm thinking about doing like more just kind of like off the cuff things of just more opinion stuff. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that in the chat, whether you'd even have any interest in reading that, because right now it's just like much more complex articles. Not really anything opinion of mine, more just like research stuff. Okay, I'm gonna leave that poll open. Let's just go ahead and can I minimize you? There we go. Yeah, okay. Love Micro Center. Got your first one in Austin last year. Can't wait. Yeah, I use the one that's by DC. I use the one that's in Virginia. I'm blessed because I'm living on the East Coast, kind of close to Washington, DC. I'm within driving distance of probably like 3 Micro Centers, so I am just spoiled. Just absolutely spoiled. All right. We'll go back to the show notes really fast because I gotta delete all these other notes that I keep accidentally making. All right. Hardware. No, we're gonna go here. Fedora 44. I'm a huge fan of Fedora. Again, talking about open source software. I'm never going to stop talking about open source software. It's the whole point of my channel. As well as learning how to run that on equipment you pretty much rescue from the garbage, which is what I do because I don't have enough money to afford everything brand new like UniFi. So Fedora 44 came out. Minor changes, not necessarily major. The change to GNOME, what are we on now? 50, 49, something like that. I just like it. In case you're ever interested in trying Linux, I'm on Linux right now. I use Fedora. It looks kind of like Mac, kind of like iOS. I like it. Next best, I think, would probably be Mint. But in case you're ever thinking about like experimenting with anything Linux, this is my first kind of stop for the operating system for people that are new. If you're a huge fan of Windows, or this is the way Windows looks at least, I'd say like Linux Mint maybe a little bit more, because this is more kind of like Mac-ish. So if you're coming from the Apple world, this is going to feel more native to you, but I like it. I just wanted to point you guys out in case you didn't know this is updated. Also, another big homelab change is PVE 9.2 for all your Proxmox guys out there. Obviously, I just told you guys I run both TrueNAS and Proxmox. Really excited about doing that. I'm about to do a video, I think, on like a good way to do that. Now, mind you, there's a million different ways to run your servers, so there is no one right way. I'm basically just going to be talking about the way I run my PVE in conjunction with my TrueNAS. My TrueNAS has a LXC on it that is running Proxmox backup server, so Proxmox backs up to TrueNAS. Proxmox also uses TrueNAS as its NFS storage target for all my LXCs and my VMs, so I can make these huge, or I can make a lot of VMs basically, or a lot of LXCs, because the amount of storage I have in my TrueNAS server is gigantic compared to Proxmox. My Proxmox server is literally just a motherboard, a CPU, memory, power supply, and one SSD to run the OS. That's it. And that's the benefit of something like that. If you attach Proxmox with TrueNAS, you can run Proxmox from like anything. You can run it from a Raspberry Pi. You can run it from a mini PC, especially if you're just running LXCs and no VMs. Like, dude, you can take really underpowered hardware and do a lot with Proxmox as long as you have something like TrueNAS to back it up. So I'm going to do a video on that, I think, probably coming up in the next few weeks, just talking more about the kind of dynamicism between those two. But 9.2 is really cool. It's got a lot of nice features in it, depending on how big you get with it, like the load balancer, the SDN, if you use software-defined networking. This is kind of interesting. I use host pass-through. I always just use host pass-through, but some people pass-through. But some people use custom CPUs for special needs that they have. There's just a bunch of stuff on here, and I love to see Proxmox continuing to get better. I think it's the best virtual environment manager out there, bar none. Bar none. This is exactly what I want to see people in the enterprise class go to instead of like VMware and all the other ones. XCP-ng is great too, don't get me wrong. I'm not super familiar with it. I know Tom Lawrence talks more about XCP-ng than I do, but I'm just an unabashed fan of Proxmox. I think everybody should be using it. It is absolutely enterprise class ready. Another thing we got to get away from in terms of Microsoft. Wait, Pi ARM support? I think you could run, I may have spoken out of turn there. I think you could run Proxmox on Pi. I'm actually not positive. I may have spoken too soon about that, so please don't quote me on that. I'm not saying I think you can. I don't know if you can, because I run it on a regular x86 64 processor. But yeah, talking about Raspberry Pis, I'm going to get into that later. Price hikes, right? We just talked about price hikes. Do you know how much the new Raspberry Pis cost, guys? Like the new Pi 5 with like, I think 16 gigs of RAM. It's like $350. I saw that and I was like, man, one, AI I love, but AI also I hate. I have a love-hate with AI. I love it because of what it does. It makes my life a lot better in a lot of ways in terms of workflow and just efficiency. I hate it because it's making everything in my life more expensive as it gives me more functionality. So Raspberry Pis are now impossible to buy for like regular prices. Just don't even try. For $350, like unless I needed like the space requirements, I'm gonna spend $350 to buy real equipment off of eBay and have like a legit dude. My Proxmox server, the one I just told you about that only has like those 4 parts, is probably only worth $200. Probably like, maybe it's 300 everything all together because I have the that 2U chassis that I got for $60 off Amazon. But like, yeah, no, my entire Proxmox server isn't worth $350, and that's a real computer. It's not a Pi. It's actually like expandable, and I can change like just unreal, unreal. Yeah, that's why I'm just like Proxmox for the win, man. Proxmox running on like an old Dell Optiplex with the 250 gig like SSD that you rescue out of some other build that you got from like a garage sale, connected to TrueNAS, like bulletproof. That's amazing. I love that. I love my setup. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at doing this, but man, do I really like it. Talking about price hikes. Yeah, I'm gonna unload here. If you're using Plex, stop it. Not because Plex isn't a good product, because this is disgusting. The reason they're doing this is to now. Here's why. Now I should really scale back my opinions. That's a very reactive thing to this. I should moderate my languages, my language. But yeah, the reason they're doing this is they don't want to do lifetime pricing anymore. It costs money to do stuff. And when people buy lifetime stuff, like Plex basically is like, oh, cool, we got a quick injection of cash and we're going to be poor again next month. That's what happens to anybody that does lifetime pricing like that or one-time pricing. You're basically saying you want to be poor in the future. If you want to do pricing, just do cheap subscription. This way you have a constant influx of money. Plex does that, but they also do lifetime. And the people that bought Plex lifetime passes forever ago for like $75 or $150 or $225, they're laughing right now. They're laughing all the way to the bank because they get full functionality from Plex. And now anybody else that wants that is going to have to pay this absurd amount of money. Like, I am a huge, huge believer in voting with your wallet. If you don't like what Plex is doing, don't use Plex. Like, simple as that. We're gonna get to the state of the fin in a minute. Talking about Jellyfin, but yeah, no, I cannot stand behind a company that does this, man. Like this is gouging, and they've changed their thing so much, man. Between like you have to opt out from like them selling your data, and you can't even opt out all the way, to then changing the fact that you can't stream outside your own home without paying for it. Like that used to be, that's a free feature about everywhere. Anybody can do that with any other media server, but Plex is like, nope, you want to stream your own content that you already own outside your home? Pay me money. I'm like, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to advocate for that. This channel will probably no longer feature anything talking about Plex. This might be the last time you hear me talk about Plex on this channel. I can't get behind this. I understand why they're doing it, because they want to force everybody onto the subscription model, which is way better for their bottom line. It's going to be way better for their development. But the decisions they're making and on behalf of their users are just not okay with me. I cannot believe this. So one of the best videos I did recently on the channel was after they did this, I was like, all right, I'm pissed. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to make a video on showing how close can we get to Plex and Jellyfin. Like if you were on Plex and you wanted to migrate to Jellyfin, how much work would you have to get to, and how close could you get to the Plex experience? So I made a video on that. It did really, really well. A lot of people obviously took to it. There's some strong opinions on it, but the point is, after doing that video, I realized that it's a bunch more work to do this on Jellyfin. I'm not even going to lie. If you want Jellyfin to act like Plex, one, it's not the same. It's not going to act like Plex. It's going to get close, but only if you're willing to put in the work. Most people on this channel are willing to put in the work. You guys mostly tinker with homelabs, so tinkering with Jellyfin is not going to be super hard for you. It's unfortunate that's the case, because people that are not maybe common homelabbers and like Plex for the easy setup and use and such like that, are going to have a tougher time with Jellyfin. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. I want to continue to see Jellyfin get better. I think this is going to move a huge wave of people to Jellyfin, and I want Jellyfin's developers to get the support that they really need to make this better, so that we can really have a legitimate competitor for Plex. Because right now, I think Jellyfin could be, after a lot of work, after a lot of plugins, after a lot of tinkering, I think it is a legitimate competitor. Do I think it's equal? No, and I'm sorry to say, I have to be honest, I don't think it's equal yet. but I think it could be. I think if we put the work in, and the community puts the work in, and developers put the work in, we can have something really serious here, and then it would just be great to make a video saying, hey, like, this is how you can get on Jellyfin, and like, you don't have to do this work anymore. It just pretty much beats Plex out of the box. That's what I want. I want an out of the box Plex killer. I use Envy actually because I think that's the closer out of the box Plex killer. Yeah, no, I want Jellyfin to be the case because Envy is not free. Envy still is like, I think either 99 or 125 for the lifetime, which I have, because that gives you the transcode, which you need. So yeah, that's kind of, that's what I want to see. But this is, again, price hiking agree out here lately. It's just getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Talking about Jellyfin. State of the Fin. There's a bunch of stuff going on. They're going to get ready to jump to version 12 eventually. The big drama was when they released like 10.11 or 10.12, whatever that was. It broke a lot of people's stuff, man. Like a lot of people had trouble with that because they hit this huge like back-end database migration, and like some people that had big databases just really struggled. It was just not good. So that made a lot of people mad. But the good news is that like when they go to 12, I'm hoping it's going to be way less when it comes to the breaking changes. That's going to be the goal. Let's talk about some new stuff that they talked about on State of the Fin. Visual plugins, panel, Jellyfin, yada, yada, yada. This is the change. Here we go. So here's the client corner. This is also some of the big news. If you want to look, I'm not going to read all this stuff to you. You guys can come in here. I'm going to put this in the chat really fast. If you want to read State of the Fin, it's really good. There's a lot, the clients are the big thing. Here's the thing about media streaming servers. While the server is important, the more important piece is probably the client, because the backend server just to stream media, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but it's also not the easiest. The clients are legitimately complicated. Dude, there's Android TV, desktop, Kodi, Roku, Tizen, Xbox. Look at this. And now, of course, the other ones too, like SwiftFin, which are the community ones that are made, and like what that runs on. Does it run on iOS? Like there's like all these things. Vega and Titan OS is for the TV OS. Like there's a million different clients out there. So I do not envy anybody who wants to stream media in 2026, because it's just like everybody's got something different they want to stream on. So there needs to be a client for everything, and like there is no way to unify that. So it's just really difficult, and I don't envy the people that have to do that. That's the point. So yeah, that's a thing. But the State of the Fin is cool. When I did that video on leaving Plex for Jellyfin, I talked a lot about the clients. I had this really cool like thing that obviously Claude built me. They compared all the clients, well, all of them, like 99% of the clients that you would probably want to use, and what features work and what features don't from like some of the plugins you can use. That's probably the most useful thing I've gotten out of AI when it comes to the videos, is like those really interesting like one slide overheads that have these cool comparison charts. Go ahead and check out the video for that if you haven't already. Yeah, State of the Fin. So that's, we need to do a better job of the Jellyfin really just needs the best clients. I think with a stronger client base, it would probably be a lot better in terms of competing with Plex, because the Plex clients are excellent. That's really the other thing that really stands Plex like head and shoulders above like Jellyfin and Envy. Not necessarily Envy, but the clients are just so good. So good. That's their real like secret sauce. If Jellyfin had a unified client like Plex does that worked on everything, that was as smooth, it would be an absolute competitor. But like the client landscape is very fractured right now. So that's why a huge section of the video I made about leaving Plex for Jellyfin focused on the clients. All right, I am going to jump to the Odysseus release. This is another one of the videos I made, dude. I don't know if anyone saw PewDiePie's release about his thing for Odysseus. Again, I don't want this to turn into an AI channel, but I can't help it. Like when I'm looking at the news, like it dominates the news cycle. So I'm gonna have to talk about it a little bit. I set this thing up, I played with it. It's okay. Not super moved by it. I like where he's going with it. What this really made me do, here's what I want to talk about a little bit, actually. I used Odysseus and I was like, this has got some interesting things to it, right? So I'm like, I wanted to, and then I took another, and forced me to reevaluate the state of running your own AI. Again, being a completely open source community, what does it look like right now to run AI locally on your computer? And I was like, before, I looked into this like a year or two ago, and the problem with AI is it moves so fast. Like everything I looked at when I looked at it the first time is completely out of date and not even anything anymore. So let's go over to the wiki really fast. I rebuilt some pages. So the Olama page was rebuilt because I was like, all right, what can I run locally now? Let me fire up Ollama. And yes, I know it's not. Oh, hold on. Java, is Super Chat on? Because it should be. Dude, that's a great question. I'm not sure if Super Chat is on. How do I even do that? If you know how to do that, let me see here. You just can't escape if you want. It's funny. Yeah, if you know how to turn on Super Chat, that'd be interesting. I don't know why that's not on. That's a good question. I'll have to look into that. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to look into that one on a live stream. I don't know. I thought that was turned on, but it's not. And unless you know how to troubleshoot it, like let me know in the chat because I'm not gonna. I'll have to figure that out later. So anyway, so I looked at back to the topic. I looked at where we are in the state of self-hosting AI right now. Actually, I should probably show you guys this. Let me see if I can pull something open really fast here. Package. I'm gonna pull something open off the screen because I don't want to show too much over here. Llama. Oh, Llama. Okay. Where's my old Llama UI? Open Web UI. Okay, I'm gonna pull this over in a second. I'm gonna show you guys something. So I found this really cool thing. Somebody showed me this on Discord. This is why I love the Discord community. I was on Discord and somebody taught me something that I was like really cool. I thought was really cool. It's called LLM Fit. LLM Fit is this really interesting thing that runs on your. God, can I show it to you? I think I can. All right, hold on, wait. We're gonna do something fun. We're gonna do something really fun. Give me 1 sec. Let's SSH into my TrueNAS. Off screen of SSHing in. Here we go. I'm going to fit this in a little more. All right, so LLM Fit, I think is it. Here we go. This is the LLM Fit. I may make a video about this. I may not. I don't know, but I'm going to show you guys here. You guys are you guys are getting ground floor stuff here. Do I have this filtered? So this is running in my obviously in my terminal right now, and what it does is it shows you by scanning your hardware what the best model fit for you is. So if you have Ollama installed, which I do, you see how it's got the check over here, I can literally just scroll up and down on these. Like for example, it thinks like this is a really good fit for me. It's like, so these are the models and these are the scores that it fits based on what I have. So it's looking at, now mind you, my TrueNAS doesn't have a GPU. Oh, that may be why. Hold on. That may be why. Let me come over here. So the stream might not be monetized. That's probably why. I don't know if I should have turned monetization on. But let me come in here. Monetization is on, so I don't know why Super Chat is not. You can keep talking to me on the side though and figure out, and we can maybe figure out why that's the case. I don't know why that's the case. Why it should be. Anyway, okay. So back to this really fast. So it found all these models and scanned this hardware, and it thinks that based on my TrueNAS, which is not running a GPU, it's just running a Intel i3-10105 and 64 gigs of RAM, right? That's what I have. Just a buttload of DDR4 RAM, and as you see up here, and a CPU that's got like 4 cores. So it scans all these open models, and it says, all right, based on that, here's how well they score based on your hardware, and here's how many tokens per second, which is basically how fast it types on the screen to you. And how much disk space it takes, how much memory it takes, all these cool things. So I can like scroll up and down using my keyboard. And if I open this, oh, there we go. Oh, dude, Java just kicked out 20. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's really good. So you just donated $20 to the chat. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, dude. That really helps me out. So when I open this up, it shows me all this cool information about it. So here's the really interesting part about that. Oh, dude, Texas Rascal. Look at these guys. Oh, we started. You guys are starting some. I'm gonna cry now. That's really a big deal, man. Anyone that donates to this channel know the kindness of their heart, man. I know you guys work hard for your money. I know that you guys will probably have other hobbies you want to put your money into. So you giving it to me to run this YouTube channel, that means a lot. That really does. I want to start doing more giveaways. We're gonna talk about that later. I'm gonna remind me later in the chat to talk about giveaways because I want to start thanking guys properly with certain things. So anyway, so I have this model here. So here's the really cool part. Let me hit escape and go back. If I hit my D key on my keyboard, this automatically downloads this model directly into Ollama, which is really cool because instead of you having to do a whole lot of like back-end like command line work, you can literally just open this up. And mine just isn't like a proper GUI. It's called a TUI, a terminal UI. Like you can see on the bottom here, like the keys and what everything does. Let me expand this a little bit. like D for down, D is pull, like capital D for down. Anyway, long story short, I like this. I thought this was really cool. And I was like, all right, I want to play with this now. So let me install Olama. Let me use this list right here and find a good model that'll fit on my computer. Let me just see. Let's just see where we're at right now for locally hosted AI, because using Opus 4.8 all day, I knew nothing was going to compete with that without without like 10 series GPUs, which I can't afford right now because of AI. But let me just see, like, with my little tiny i3 CPU and my 64 gigs of DDR4, like, let's just see. Let me exit out of this guy right here. And exit out of here. Yes, I do want to close my terminal. So I updated the Olama page that had never been open. It had not been updated in forever. So I was like, all right, let me get some proper documentation, because of course we're all good home labbers here, right? So we all have good documentation to keep track of our stuff. So I updated the documentation. I pulled the Docker Compose file for it. I ran it, and then I ran LLM fit, and I found one that worked. And then I added Open Web UI. So let's go ahead and pull Open Web UI over here. There we go. This is my Open Web UI. This is actually running on my TrueNAS server right now. And I've connected an API key for Claude, but I also have this model. So this is the model that's running locally for me on my CPU. So I'm going to say, tell me about TrueNAS as a hypervisor. So I have a pretty serious, I don't say a pretty serious stack. So my stack for this is Olama, SearchNG, and Open Web UI. That's what's running right now to make this work. So I've got SearchNG working, so I can turn the little web search on, and I'm going to run this locally. And I'm going to just let this run. So I want you guys to see how long this takes. Now, mind you, this is getting like maybe 15 tokens a second or so, but I want you to see how long it takes. It's going to search the web through a local search hosted browser, so it's not going out. It's all staying local. All the AI is local, and we'll just see what it's going to come back with. The thing I thought was impressive was that I thought the answers were good. It takes forever because, of course, I don't even have not even a scrap of GPU. It exists in TrueNAS, so this is all CPU inference. The other thing that's going to make it take a while is because if I don't activate this model every 5 minutes, it frees up the memory. So because I haven't used this in like days, it's going to pull like 19 gigs into the RAM right now to load this model in the RAM of TrueNAS. And ZFS is going to adjust its cache dynamically, and that takes a minute. So it's going to take a minute just to spin the model up in the RAM cache essentially before it can even start doing the thing. So that's why it kind of takes a while. Once it's up and running, it still takes a while. Not gonna lie. But yeah, this is gonna run locally. But I'm gonna do this in real time so you can see how long it takes and what its answer is. I thought the answers were good. You see here on the chat, I was testing like weather and stuff to make sure like the local web searching was working. So I wanted to find something that was like very like time and location specific, so I can make sure the web search through SearchNG was working. So I was looking for like movies and weather and stuff like that, and like tell me about space, which is like the common like test your AI thing. So yeah, we'll test this out and we'll run it in real time so you guys can see. I thought the answers were good, but I just thought it took too much time, so I wouldn't use it like full time. And of course, it's never going to compete with Claude, but just the idea of like, hey, what can I do locally? Like, where are we at with that right now? And I was really, really super happy, impressed. Like I couldn't have been more tickled that this is where it's going, because if this is how good it's gotten in like a year or two, in like another year or two, like local AI for like everyday tasks, quote unquote, may be a thing without a $10,000 GPU. Like that's what I'm hoping we're getting to. I'm hoping we're getting to a place where I can use a reasonable GPU, maybe something like something in the 60 series, like a 3060 or a 4060 or a 5060, something that's like between $250, $350, and run a local AI model that's quote unquote good enough to do like small local things or just everyday little nonsense tasks around my home lab. I want to eventually, hopefully we'll get to a place like that, and maybe I'll start doing that, and I'll start offloading some of my like lighter tasks to my local stuff, and then just use, and then we call like a cloud call, right? So then make a pipe where if I need to do something bigger than just like tell me about TrueNAS as a hypervisor, it reaches out to my actual Claude code via API and like can pull the full frontier model force, something like that. Let's go back to the chat real fast. Documentation, what's that? Yeah, I know. Using cron jobs to write Docker Compose files to Wiki.js and more cron jobs. That's actually a pretty interesting idea, Texas Rascal. I'm just doing everything by hand right now, but that's kind of cool. Forge.ho. I've never heard of Forge.ho. I don't know what Forge.ho is. I have to look into that. How about feeding your own rag? Yeah, dude. So Open Web UI. One of the things I did in researching, I'm gonna let that go for a second. Where's the I also did one for Open Web UI. because like this front end has actually gotten a lot better. Because the reason again this came was Odysseus, because I saw Odysseus come out and I was like, okay, like, that's a thing. Like it's interesting that he released his thing. It's definitely super janky. It's riddled with security holes. But OpenWebUI is like the logical competitor, and I think it's in some ways pretty good. So you'll see here on the right, there's a lot of things we built. I had to redo this page too because it hadn't been touched in years. So there's a bunch of stuff in here about just getting it up and running, and then learning how to do like built-in parity features. So how to do web search, how to do reg, how to do image generation, code interpret. All this stuff is in here. How to use the plugin system. The plugin system is amazing. It's really cool. So I saw this and I was like, there's a lot that OpenWebUI can now do that I was not aware of it doing, and it can be pretty powerful. Like if you wanted to tinker with something and really like go down the rabbit hole, OpenWebUI is pretty powerful in terms of front end. Once you start building in the plugins and the community stuff, it can do cool things. Where is my thing? Okay, so you can see now we're getting somewhere. We retrieved 17 sources, and it's working. So, but I thought Odysseus was interesting. The video was good. I liked it. I was really happy that somebody is doing something to kind of push that forward. I want more people to be working in AI. I think that's going to help us out, especially as it becomes more democratized. Like I don't like the idea that we're collecting AI between basically Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI. I think that's a bad thing. Like centralization of technology is not the direction we want to go here. So the fact that we eventually may all be able to run legit models locally on our hardware, which hopefully won't be, again, super catastrophically expensive in the future. Like, yeah, that could be a thing. All right, so let's look at what it tells us here. TrueNAS can function as a hypervisor through TrueNAS Scale platform. That's a little bit out of date because Scale doesn't exist, because now it's called CE, but that's fine. Supports virtualization using Incus-based backends. That's currently true. In 26, that'll change. Uses VMs, NAS workloads, make it suitable. Okay, TrueNAS is not designed to compete with enterprise clusters like VMware, ASP, Proxmox. That's true. Okay, so the virtualization support, KVM, LXC containers, this is true. Storage protocols, TrueNAS offers hypervisor storage, NFS, and iSCSI. It also has more protocols, but yeah. Enabling integration with these things. Oh, here we go. Upcoming TrueNAS 26 release. So this is weird. It's saying it's April 2026. The release is going to be in September. The beta was in April. New capabilities expected, including ZFS 7.4, hybrid pool. So this is a very true statement, and you can see it got it from truenas.com. Limitations: it's enterprise-ready virtualization, but still primarily serves as a storage platform. Virtualization secondary feature. 100% true statement. Ooh, yeah, sorry about that. 100% true statement. It's not intended for large-scale production-grade virtualization clusters. It's not designed for clusters, but it can definitely do large-scale production-grade storage, and may lack the advanced management of orchestration tools found in dedicated hypervisors. Lightweight hypervisor for small to medium workloads. So this is my point. This answer is good. This is a good answer. Before this, like when I was doing my own like AI like a year or two ago, you would not have gotten an answer this good. Whatever you got probably would have been wrong. Like flat out, it was just going to tell you things that are not true. This is a good answer for the most part for something that's running without a AI, without any GPU at all. Like that's not bad. It took forever, but yeah, it's good. So this is I'm leaving this running right now in my home lab just to kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna keep like a side eye on this and see how this goes, because the community out there that's learning how to just quant and break down the big models and work through the open source stuff, I'm hugging face. Like God bless you all, because we're gonna need you in the future. The future needs you. Yeah, this is the Odysseus video. Definitely check that out. Interesting what he's doing, but anyway. Okay, where are we at? Okay, we're going to talk about... Oh, Tom's here. Hey, Tom. I didn't even see you jump on. Tom was just telling... Everyone should thank Tom Tech, because Tom was giving me a little bit of a big pat on the back for the videos lately. And he's like, man, I miss the live streams. And it got me thinking about the live stream. So, Tom, like, you were the one that kind of prompted me to be like, hey, I need to get back on the live stream game. I'm not sure if anyone... Uh-oh. I hope you guys can hear me, actually. I just realized and looked at my analytics, and I'm probably looking at the wrong window. That's why. Hold on. I was just like, oh man, my analytics say I'm not streaming. Let me know if you guys got any blips during this live stream. I want to make sure you guys aren't getting any issues with connectivity or anything like that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was probably just looking at the wrong screen. Connectivity looks good. Anyway, don't feed his ego. It's fine. No, Tom keeps me grounded. But yeah, Tom was like, yeah, I want to do more. I want to see more live streams. It's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's totally do that. So let's jump into some news from, wrong thing. Let's click this guy. Then I can click this link. There we go. Pangolin and Netbird. Pangolin and Netbird are at this war with each other that makes me so happy because Pangolin is amazing. When Pangolin came out, Pangolin was, in case you guys didn't know the story about like the birth of Pangolin, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, this was birthed at like a hackathon, and someone was like basically just trying to reverse engineer Cloudflare tunnels so that they can make their own like self-hosted Cloudflare tunnels. So that's what this started out as. It's blossomed to something so much bigger. It's now like almost a full-on replacement for like Cloudflare and like WireGuard at the same time, and Tailscale. Like that's what everybody's doing. Like Tailscale came out forever ago and it was amazing. It's like the secret sauce that I didn't know I needed for networking. And then all these other people were like, hey, can I build a reverse proxy like a Cloudflare tunnel with a regular reverse proxy, with a private reverse proxy, with a zero knowledge, like a zero trust VPN, like Tailscale, all with a pretty browser that's self-hosted open source. Can I do that? And then Pangolin was like, check. And then Netbird out of Germany, I think it's out of Germany. I forget where it's at. I forget where Netbird's at. I think it's out of Germany, which is not, the point is it's not American-based, which I like. It's not US-based because it's not, that makes me happy. So then here comes Netbird out of this thing. It's like, hey, we're going to build this Tailscale killer, and it's going to be so much better. And when it came out, it was basically kind of cool and very much like Tailscale, and it was only marginally better. And now it's amazing because Pangolin keeps releasing stuff like SSH, RDP, VNC, and more through your web browser, in the web browser natively, no longer needing a client. And that was, now mind you, Netbird beat them to that punch, but Pangolin was better at the reverse proxy feature, and then Netbird built in a reverse proxy, both cloud and self-hosted, and now Netbird also has bring your own proxy. They just released this out. This is the Netbird release for Netbird 0.72, which allows you to bring your own proxy so you can self-host the relay. So now it can be completely off. Like there are so many cool features. I can talk about this all day. I do not want to take a ton of time on this, but I want you to know if you're looking at networking nowadays, these are, in my opinion, the standouts for networking. Netbird and Pangolin are GOAT. And Tailscale is still the boss. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I know people still feel that way, dude. I'm with, dude, the series, the money that Tailscale is bringing in for their Series B or Series C, whatever that was, like, lets me know that they're going to be here for a while. I think Netbird's going to be here a while. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I like Netbird. I'm just my own personal opinion. I'm a bigger fan of Netbird than I am of Tailscale. The one thing that Tailscale has that nobody has that I think somebody needs to figure out how to do is the way that you can share one PC into a different tailnet, like how you can share like resources across different people's accounts. Like Netbird can't do that. I need it. I need that feature. Like that's gonna be really cool because like I want to set up a separate Netbird for work and then share like maybe like the work PC into my Netbird like cloud, or maybe share like my personal PC into my work cloud sometimes if I need to get like moves. I would need to be able to do that. I need to be able to bridge different Netbird accounts with the same PC or the same endpoint, quote unquote. Tailscale does that. Nobody else does. Like that needs to happen. I need that. Once that happens, I'm shutting you all down in the chat. I'm gonna be like, no, Netbird's the king. But as for right now, Tailscale definitely has merit. It definitely is here for longer. It's the incumbent. It's the heavy hitter that's been around for a while. Netbird I love. Pangolin's amazing. I think that Pangolin is doing really interesting things. Netbird, by the way, has his own YouTube channel. The videos are good. They're not terrible. It's pretty like low budget stuff because they're just kind of like showing you how some stuff works. But it's great. I actually like the fact that Netbird themselves is putting out their own YouTube videos with their own internal people to show you guys and to show everybody the new functionality like the day after launch. Like it's so like. Which is good because I don't feel like I have to sprint sometimes to be like, oh my god, Netbird just released this thing. Let me hurry up and make a video on it. Like, no, they do that themselves. This is the video right here, actually. So yeah, love it. Love the fact that this is going on. We are in the golden age of networking. Like these two companies going back to back, just continuing to iterate and build new cool stuff that's like really easy to use. It could not be easier right now to set up VPNs, reverse proxies, all this stuff. It's just the pace is insane. The pace of development is like, I don't know how they're doing this. I just don't. It's just great. All right. That's going to cover like a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about in terms of the news. What I told you that we were going to do was go over the self-host newsletter. And I do want to do that because again, a lot of this news comes from there. So I'm just going to be skimming through some of the stuff because What I want to talk about is going to be the apps that are coming out, because again, we talked about the news, but we're all here because we run stuff on our servers. We're actually serving content in some way with our servers. So I want to talk about what apps we're using really quickly. I just want to bring the chat back over here. I want to obviously point out this again. If you guys didn't see this, Java and Texas Rascal totally donate to the channel. Thank you guys so much. That reminds me about the giveaways. That now we're back here. Giveaways. I can gift Patreon subscriptions, which are really cool, because a lot of stuff that I talk about on Patreon I can't talk about on YouTube, and I'm mad about that. I want to just talk about everything on YouTube, so I don't have to run two platforms. But you know, it is what it is. This channel has been shut down twice already, so we no longer take risks like that. So we now have Patreon. So I want to start gifting Patreon subscriptions to people. So I think the next live stream, I'm probably going to gift some to people in the chat that are like frequent commenters. If you guys have any ideas about how I should gift that, let me know, because I do want to start using that ability that Patreon gives me to like give some subscription stuff away. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I can do a variety of things through Patreon. They give me the option to do that. So I want to figure out the best way to actually reward the hardcore audience here. Dude, Texas Rascal, the only Patreon sub I have is this one. Thanks so much, man. I'm trying to do the best I can with Patreon. I used to do like weekly releases, and now I dropped it down to like 2 a month. But even so, in case no one has seen the Patreon subscription that we have, or has not seen the Patreon channel, it's free to join the channel, so you can browse all the content. I never block the content, and you can see all of what the content includes without seeing the video for free. This way you can decide if it's even worth your time. What I tell people usually, if they're like, I don't want to kick out $5 for a video, I'm like, no problem. Kick out $5 one time, download or watch all the videos, then just cancel the subscription. You're paying $5 for like 50 something videos that I can't show anywhere else, and they're all like pretty high quality stuff. Give Patreon to admins only. Yeah, dude, my admins should. My admins on Discord should already be having that. I should talk to them about that on the staff chat channel. So if we're gonna talk about that anyway. It's the admin should have that, but I want to do something for the greater community. There's a bunch of hardcore fans that follow us, follow me, I should say, on YouTube and all the other channels that are on Discord that are really contributing to making this a really amazing community. And I want to reward them in some way. I just don't know how to do that yet. So I'm kind of spitballing this out loud. I probably shouldn't say this on a live stream, but like this is kind of my stream of consciousness. Like I want to do something with that gives back to the community, because I want to give back to the community more. If I can. So that's, y'all be thinking about that. If you think about something good, just drop it in the chat. Anyway, let's come back up here. Tom jumped in. Don't feed a seagull. So yeah, Tom, that's the reason we're here today. My old buddy's still sitting over here with Cloudflare, Pi-hole, and Nginx. Dude, I don't hate on that. So I do that too. So I don't run Pangolin, even though I probably should, because when it came out, I was like, this is cool, but I'm already using Cloudflare tunnels, and I don't want to self-host that. I use Cloudflare specifically because it's not self-hosted. Even though it sounds kind of counterintuitive, it is. So I like that. So I was like, I also run Nginx because I can't stream my media over Cloudflare, so I have to have both. Eventually, NetBird might allow me to collapse that into something single, because NetBird started their own reverse proxy, and they specifically said we are going to allow media streaming. It's in beta right now, and they're only European servers. So everybody I know in the US who's tried that is like, it's too laggy, I'm getting too much buffering. I'm like, that's because it's a European server. It's probably overloaded because everybody's using it for the same thing right now. But I want to see what NetBird is going to do in terms of their reverse proxy, because if they have a good reverse proxy that allows media streaming and is free, because that's what I'm paying right now for my Nginx, it's free. I'd probably not use Nginx anymore. We're going to see. But I'm using the same setup, Texas Rascal, where it's Cloudflare and Nginx. And yeah, no, I use NetBird for my private VPN for when I'm out of the house and I need to get back on my LAN, and I love it for that. I'm not using a ton of the extra features right now, but I'm prepared to if it really gets out of beta and does very well. Tailscale's to the boss, I'm not sorry. TS fan, but we got a lot of dude. Tailscale's firing up here. The Tailscale guys are like, yes, I'm a Tailscale person. No hate to Tailscale. I think it's really good. I just think that the other ones are quickly catching up and surpassing in some ways. That's just my opinion. Giveaways at the end of the stream. I should do that. I should make. I guess, dude, if you survive 2 hours of my rambling, you deserve $5. That's probably the case. Dropped Headscale for Penguin. Yeah, dude, this is the thing, right? Tailscale, I think the cloud hosted one is good, but I know some people want to self-host. I don't like Headscale self-hosted. There is one that they make, I forget the name of it, that looks a lot like the cloud version, but I'm like, dude, the Headscale Tailscale compatibility thing, I'm not it. I did a video on that forever ago, and I was like, God bless anybody who does this because it's not fun or easy. It's not. It's not. It's just. It's not easy. I think that one of the things I like about Netbird is, and they made it a point to do this again, coming after Tailscale. If you self-host Netbird, it's the same exact console you get on the cloud. The same exact one. You do not have to get this bolt-on third-party community-built thing. Like what Netbird gives you for the self-host is the exact same console and the exact same like UI you get in the cloud, which looks really, really good. It's my feelings about that. I don't think I can be considered hardcore. I just finished stuff the last couple of weeks. It's fine, dude. Blazing Wolf, yeah. If you don't think you're hardcore yet, like, you'll go down the rabbit. Home labbing is such a rabbit hole. It's such a time suck. Like, you'll start with this one thing and be like, look at this video. Look at this wiki article. Look at this cool container. Next thing you know, you're like me and you've got 2 servers and 80 Docker containers. Like, it happens that fast. The only thing I'm not getting working very well is private resources, HTTPS. Yeah, dude, I haven't started getting into the private, like the Netbird only stuff, like the private resource. I have to start like working with it more because I'm using my regular Netbird to just jump back on my LAN. I haven't actually exposed anything with a fully qualified domain name yet with like a bring your own proxy. I haven't like started playing yet, but we'll see. I completely removed Serious Business. Oh, I like the name. I completely removed CF from my home lab and couldn't be happier. Yeah, dude, like there's enough technology out there right now that you can probably survive. You can definitely survive without Cloudflare. I don't want to make that full-on leap yet, but if some people that are out there, like, I don't want anything that's not controlled by me, like I want everything within my like umbrella. Like, yeah, no, the tools are there. Like there's enough tools out there right now to completely dump Cloudflare. I just like the convenience right now, and I love a lot of the protections they give me out of the box, which now Penguin does, because they do CrowdSec built in. So that's the point. Like, I can't even finish that sentence without talking about something new that somebody cool just built. In case you don't know what I just said, Cloudflare also builds in CrowdStrike, which is a lot of what keeps you safe similar to what keeps you safe on Cloudflare. So you can have that built in automatically to your Pangolin tunnels right now and get similar, not the same, but similar protection to Cloudflare. So that's, yeah, man. Yeah. It's possible to dump Cloudflare. I'm just not going to do it yet. 3 local servers, 1 off-site server. The rabbit hole runs deep. Yeah, dude, I'm about to do my first off-site with a buddy of mine. I'll tell you, fun story. He might even be on here. A good friend of mine is a truck driver, and he is about to buy a house and get off the road. And I told him for a housewarming gift, I'm going to give him a server. So I'm going to find I'm in the process of finding an old Dell tower. I can't find one locally yet. I haven't found one. Just like, I'm looking for a garage sale, like old Dell that somebody's just, getting rid of an office. So I'm going to just throw a couple cheap hard drives in there for him and turn it into probably like a media box and some other stuff. But I'm going to gift him a TrueNAS server, and I'm going to install Netbird on it, and I'm going to run it remotely for him. So when he wants something, I'm not going to make him learn how to do everything because he's not super technical. I'm basically going to be like, oh, you want to like do your photos? No problem. I'll install image for you, and just go in over Netbird, dump image on there really fast, and then just like him be like, here's your endpoint, and like just give him the URL, and that'll be it. So I want to do some cool stuff like that for him. So I'm looking for an old Dell right now to kind of retrofit with some used hard drives that I'm probably going to get from like either eBay or server part deals or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm going to use Netbird as a remote access tool for that and just give it to him. And that's going to be my first major offsite server that I don't quote unquote offsite. We have a couple TrueNAS servers at work. I don't consider those offsite servers. Those are like stuff I manage for my job. I mean, this is going to be a legit like offsite one that I manage privately. Yes, I haven't been active on Discord support lately. Just got busy at my new home. Work, I have some ridiculous tickets these weeks. Yes, I work in IT. Yeah, Tom. Tom's also in Europe, so he's a little far ahead. I don't know what time it is. I think it's like after work for you, Tom. I think it's 6 p.m. where you are, maybe 7 p.m. But yeah, it's okay. The Oscar's been picking up a lot of slack for everybody. If you guys ever go on the Discord support tickets, like you're gonna hear from like 2 people. You're gonna hear from me. You used to hear from Tom a lot, but Tom's obviously been busy. You'll hear from Oscar. There's a few other guys on there like Dark Wizard and Gray Matter Labs. We have a really great team. In case you've never been on Discord or you're not part of the Discord community, all the people that are admins on servers at home Discord are legitimately good human beings who are good at home labbing, good at IT, and are just super kind people, which is the complete opposite of Reddit and the rest of the internet where most of this knowledge is locked up, which is why I love our community. I think it's different for that reason. It's specifically not 9 p.m. God, Tom, it's late there. It's specifically not toxic, and that's the idea. I want beginners to find a non-toxic place to ask questions that they know are dumb questions, but don't get chewed out about it just because they don't know. One of the things I want to talk about really fast about that, talking about tickets and talking about Discord, If you're on Discord, you might see a bot answer one of your questions. I want to address this now before anyone jumps and goes crazy. That bot is not a real bot. Oh, Joe Schmo, dude, you're great, man. Yeah, I should have known that because you're the happy face. I knew that. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that. Dude, I didn't realize you were here, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Gray Matter Labs is one of the helpers that serves at home, and he's great. It's just a little, I didn't realize Joe Schmo was your YouTube handle. Now I feel dumb. So anyway, the bot on, so here's the way it works. I have a dashboard set up that I will not show you for managing my YouTube channel, managing just the Servers at Home brand, because it's huge. It's a lot. It's a blog, it's a wiki, it's Patreon, it's YouTube, it's the financial side of it is there. There's what is it? There's another thing too. There's a bunch of stuff that I can imagine. There's a bunch of panes of glass that do that. So I was like, I'm going to use Claude, and I'm going to code one pane of glass to do this all through one spot. And one of the cool things I can do is I have a bot that loops into Discord that feeds the pane of glass that's control plane that I built to control the brand. Somebody asked me a question today, and some people ask me questions that I don't know. That happens. I don't know everything. I'm on this journey with you guys. I'm learning just like you guys are learning. So somebody asked me something, and I'll have to use AI to be like, what is this? Or I know about some parts of this, but tell me about this part. I don't know about this part. So it'll teach me stuff. So I'll use that, and sometimes I'll do that. And I used to just basically retype the answer or just copy and paste right out of like my window for Claude into Discord. I'm like, this is dumb. Like, what I should be doing is I should have a bot that reads the support channel or the support ticket and then feeds that into Claude using the whole ticket as context, and then gives me an answer that I can pump back in there, right? So I built this pipeline that does exactly that. I can read a support ticket in my thing that I built, and then it'll pass it to Claude, and Claude will give me an answer. Now, it gives me an answer in the control plane. Then I look at that answer, and I evaluate how good it is. Now, because I've been using Claude for a lot of home lab stuff, and it knows me, its answers are really, really good now, because I've been spending a lot of time teaching it stuff, and it's been spent time teaching me. So we're getting good together. Like, we're learning together. It's weird that I'm talking about it like a person. I realize that. So just, yeah, anyway, let's not touch that. So Claude and I will do this, and then it'll make this ticket. So I'll go over the answer it gives me. Sometimes I'll make edits, and then sometimes I'll just push it without edits because it's fine. Or sometimes I'll delete stuff. I'll do something to that answer to make sure the answer that it's giving you is not just a legit copy and paste. It's actually the right answer. And then I click send on my control plane. And in Discord, what you'll see is the help bot will give you an answer in this really pretty markdown. The reason I'm saying all this is no one jumped. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but someone's going to be like, oh, I don't want to talk to AI. I want to talk to a person. You are talking to a person. You're talking to me. That bot can never answer you without my permission, and all the answers go through me before you read them. So it is completely human curated and human triggered. The bot cannot be triggered by anybody on the Discord server, and it can only send messages with my permission. I actually have to physically click a button for it to send the message. So if you're on Discord and you are in one of the support tickets, you might get a helper, and you might get me, or you might get me through the bot. But it's all humans. Humans are the only people on the Discord right now doing anything, so I don't want anyone to freak out. So talks my location, staff chat. Cool. Yeah, so that's just a quick heads up. I like where it's going. I've been using it a lot. I've been starting to lean on it more and more within the help tickets, because people sometimes will ask me things that either I don't know or the answer is long and complicated, and I'm like, all right, instead of me typing you out half a page right here, I'm just gonna have AI type out half a page, and I'll double check it to make sure it's right, and then I'll send it. So I've been doing more and more of that. So don't freak out if you see that in the bot channel or in the Discord channel. Here we go. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Cancel. Dude, I saw, yeah, so, hold on one sec. So Joe Schmo, I saw your, I'm going to call him Joe Schmo because that's what he is in this chat. Joe, I saw your message. As soon as I get off this live stream, I'll answer you back in Discord. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about some late apps that comes in here. Fluxer is the only thing I didn't talk about. Again, Discord replacements. It's this one and it's one more. I'm hoping that in the near future, we're going to get to a place where we have a legitimate Discord alternative. By the way, we do have a Discord alternative. It's called, yeah, thank you. It's probably going to kick me out now. There we go. We have a Matrix channel. We're on Matrix. Who's on here right now? 31 members. So if everybody that talked about the idea of doing this and like wanting an alternative to Discord, we have one. 36 members are in general right now. So yeah, last join was in May. There are some people on here right now though, which is cool. But yeah, no, this is not really heavily used. So I'm looking into, I like this. I think it's cool. I was really happy to get it. I'm still continuing to work with this to make sure that it's really cool. One of the things that this does that a lot of the other ones do is the blog and the wiki is in here. Like there's some updates here, I think, like the blog chat. Every time I make a blog post and every time I update a wiki page, I think, it does that. Where is that? Wiki updates, here it is. There's a YouTube page every time I update a wiki page, every time I drop a YouTube video. So this is doing a lot more cool pulls automatically from those sources. So I kind of like that. I kind of like the fact that it's working. It's chat.servers at home. If anyone wants to know where that is, let me put this in here in the chat. If you want to join that, it's not busy. That's the thing. Like it's not as busy as Discord, not even close. It has 31 people in it. Discord has 2,800. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a time that we legitimately get off of Discord. But again, I don't like it. I don't like what Discord is doing. I don't like the decisions it's making. It's not affecting me personally yet. I just don't like the direction. I don't like it. So I want something like this to take off. There's another one, like I said, besides Fluxer that I forget what it is, but it's also really, really good. I think these are good. I just think we just need more time and more community behind them, and it could be a thing. But anyway, let's scroll through some apps real fast. I already covered like most of these news stories. The only one I didn't cover is this piece here, talking about Fox buying Roku. I don't like Roku. I'm gonna level with you guys. Roku is probably one of the not Amazon Fire Sticks are better. Google Chromecasts are better. Like Roku is like the bottom of the pile for like these sticks you can buy or boxes you can buy and plug into your TV to make them smart. Fox bought them. I don't know why. I don't think they're good. I think they're probably the worst option you can get out there. I use a Fire Stick and I love it. It's like $20. Like on Prime Day, which is coming up like next week. I think the one that like the 4K, like the highest one they have, like the one that's like 4K full like bandwidth streaming, like all the bells and whistles is going to be like $19. It's $19. Just do that. That's it's easy. But Fox bought Roku. Don't ask me why. I don't know if that was a good deal for them for $22 billion. By the way, I feel like Dr. Evil. $1 million. Like that's stupid. I cannot believe they paid that much money for it. But then again, Elon Musk just became a trillionaire. So what does money even mean anymore? I feel so strongly about so many things right now. Anything on here that's jumped off of me? Rackpeak got updated, which is cool. So did ROM. Both of these are kind of popular in the community. Something else got updated that I wanted. Homar got updated. Some people were complaining about Homar as a dashboard because I think it sucked up way too much memory. I think they fixed that and now they have new integrations, which is cool. Not sure if I know the Discord server. I'll have to check for Discord link. Let me put the Discord link in the thingy. So you know what? I don't know the Discord link. I probably shouldn't have done that in real time. The Discord link's at the bottom here. Discord, copy link. There we go. That's the Discord link. All right. Other things that were updated. Some of the stuff is new and I've looked at it and I was like, all right, some stuff has jumped off of me. When I do next month's like best of apps container thing, I'm definitely gonna cover some things. Like Ninja Asset is really cool. I thought that was interesting. This is, when I saw the screenshots, I was like, this is pretty good for like a little IT asset manager, a little off the shelf, probably a little bit of vibe coding, but it's nice UI. I think it's pretty solid. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. It's only been released 2 weeks, but really curious to see how that goes. Let's go back, feedback. Just jump back one more. The people that made Plex made something called Dara Music. I will not support it because it's made by the people who made Plex, and I don't like them. So there you go. Java, it pops up with Sable. So Sable is the front end. Sable is like the web client that allows you to connect to Matrix. This is a whole conversation, but long story short, if you want to get on the Matrix server, Matrix is just the server. You need to bolt a front end to that so you can actually communicate with the server because the server runs headless. So Matrix is running on my homelab, and then I have the front end that I chose is called Sable, and that's where you will create a user and a password, and you'll sign up on my Matrix server if you don't have a Matrix account already. So because in order to do this, just like anything, you need an account. So you can sign up on my servers at home Matrix account and it's fine. I might be switching away from Sable because a buddy of mine is also one of the admins on Discord, is doing amazing things in the open source space. And they're doing some pretty cool stuff with with Matrix chat. and they're building their own front end, which is going to look a lot better than Sable. I think Sable's the closest I've gotten to Discord so far. There's going to be another one coming that's going to be even nicer. So yeah, so if you see Sable come up, that's what it is. Chat.servers at home resolves to the Sable front end, which is where you can either log in with an existing password if you have a Matrix account, or if you don't have one, you can sign up for one. All right. Yeah, this is a cool part from last week's. Given the relatively slow news week, I paid tributes to a few of the projects, and these are the ones that have basically died. Like, no longer maintained and prevent them from being recommended to readers. So like these are basically the list of like dead things that were built that don't exist anymore. Here's a few projects that made a splash at launch but never received more than 1 or 2 months of development. Bunch of these. And lastly, I mentioned to Dumbware. So Dumbware was really cool when it came out, but they're not maintained really anymore. They don't actually keep doing their thing. That's because the developer had a baby. So yeah, no, go be with your family, man. Go touch grass. I like that. I'm not mad at that. More new stuff, and I've covered a bunch of this. Let's jump through the apps real fast. Arcane 2.0 came out. You guys don't know what Arcane is. It's another Docker container manager, very similar to Dockage or Dockhand. Dockhand is quickly taking storm of being pretty awesome. I think a lot of people are using it. I just talked to the developer of Arcane for the 2.0. We're friends on Discord. This is not bad. I'm not going to lie, man. This is a good option. I might do a video on this in the upcoming few weeks of just what it looks like to run your Docker Compose stacks through here. The thing that I like the most is a lot more people now are going to this idea that Dockage started, which is like, I'm going to put all your Docker stacks in one folder, and then we'll just do everything out of that. I love that idea because it makes it super easy to back up Docker containers and Docker configurations. Before, the problem was like if you had like, for example, Dockage and or what's the one that starts with P? Portainer. And if you Dockage or Portainer, they didn't talk to each other. If you made a stack in Dockage, you couldn't manage it in Portainer. And if you made it in Portainer, and you couldn't manage it in Dockage. Now everything's becoming more compatible. Like Arcane, Dockhand, Dockage, you can manage your stacks folder from any of them. So you can make something in Arcane and then manage it through Dockage, or make something in Dockhand and manage it through Arcane. You can do all these things now. So I'm really thrilled that this like interoperability is starting to happen. But I might make a video on this one to point you guys out. Just clean up my stacks and launch Dockhand. Wow, is all I can say. Yeah, dude, Dockhand is cool. I like it. I'm not using it right now. I'm still using Dockage because again, this is a channel for beginners, and I don't want to throw a beginner that's never used Docker before at something like Dockhand. They'll probably cry. It's a very busy interface. It looks overwhelming. Dockage is a little bit simpler. I like Dockhand. I like it. I think it does amazing work. I'm just not using it every day because I'm trying to stay kind of close to the audience, but it's good. It's good. So Arcane came out. What else came out that jumped off? I talked about NetBird already. Nextcloud keeps getting better. Here's the Pangolin update that we just talked about. These are just, what are these? Oh, this is new software. What came out here that I wanted to talk to you guys about? I've seen some things. Dude, this month has not been like crazy good for like new software yet, but it's the summer. I imagine people are probably outside just enjoying them. So I'm glad about, man. There's no shame in that game at all. Let's jump back out and do first week of June. I'm probably gonna stop here. Just once this is when Odysseus is released. I love this piece that he started with. When he said, "I watched everyone listen to Blast Plex for launching another feature nobody asked for, and I found myself wondering how untrue that probably is and whether any of the platforms users actually find themselves negatively impacted. After all, those of us in the open source and self-hosted communities are notorious for not practicing what we preach." And this is the statistics. 92% of the apps he follows source their code on GitHub, owned by Microsoft. Over 50 plus Discord project communities I'm a member of, only 2 migrated their platforms after the age verification debacle. I'm on that boat. We gave the option for Matrix, 36 people. Yeah. Before Reddit stopped publishing the subscriber counts, the r self-hosted subreddit had 5 times more subscribers than Lemmy's sister community. It's almost impossible to find new projects that haven't leveraged AI. Of course, this is most likely cloud AI. While existing projects are adopting it at a rapid pace, brands still seem to have a larger presence on X than Blue Sky and Mastodon, and projects still gravitate towards MS Office and Google Drive for collaborative exercises instead of something like, again, Euro Office. So for us being really all big on open source, the statistics are not good. We are all still using a lot of closed source software, or software that's owned by big tech companies. I am just as guilty. We're on Discord. We're on YouTube. I'm on what else? Google a little bit. So yeah, like I'm not completely divested, but yeah, it's a thing. I'm on Reddit all the time. Like yeah, it's a thing. What about PKI infrastructure? Private. So PKI is private key infrastructure. So Summit Sarkar, I would like to know more of what you're looking for PKI infrastructure. I don't talk a lot about that on the channel. I'm curious to where you're going with like managing that. All right, so we talked. Oh, the other piece of news that I didn't touch, but it was kind of interesting. Strava closed sourced their API access, which was annoying because there's a bunch of self-hosted products that relied on the API for Strava, and now they just shut it down basically. So, yeah, this is like another one of those reasons why it's like big tech and companies that do this can pivot on a dime. Like they can shut everybody out instantaneously if they want to. We need other options. Been beating that drum all day now. Okay. This is going to be interesting when it happens. When AV2 comes out, I want to see how that goes because it's going to make a big splash in the media world. And of course, you know this channel is big into the media world. Updates. Nothing here that's jumping off the page at me, except for Uptime Kuma. I use Uptime Kuma all the time. Now they just added new notification providers. If you're not using Uptime Kuma to monitor your stuff, I'm curious what you are using because you should be using something. New software. Bill Gates. I didn't even see this before. Whatever. Scheduling rest stick back. That's a great name. Labitat, also a great name. A lot of there's this for every one app that comes out, that's something else. Like 4 dashboards are released. This was interesting if you're an iOS person. If you want to manage iOS on your phone, if you want to manage Proxmox from your iOS device, somebody released this thing called Reeve, which is like great. It's supposed to be a really good Proxmox manager. Now, I use Android, so I don't actually, you're not going to hear me talk too much about Apple devices here. But yeah, I know there's a lot of iPhone users out there, so I try to talk about it a little bit. Streamyfin got bumps. I might talk about this on Patreon. I took a look at this project and I was like, this is interesting. For a combination to use with Bazaar. If you're a big subtitle person for your media, like let me know in the chat because that'll let me, like, if you want to see that come up faster, because that's on the bottom of my list for Patreon right now, but if you want to see it rise to the top, just let me know. I don't think subtitles are a huge thing for a lot of people unless you're super into anime, but this is, if you're in the media world and you have issues with subtitles, maybe check this out. Actually, you know what? Somebody just had a Discord ticket about that. I gotta go back and double check that. Somebody was just asking about subtitle sync, and I was like, he's having issues with subtitles in Bazaar. I should probably recommend this to him and see if he'll agree to be my test dummy. All right. That was a lot of things, guys. I just talked for like 2 hours. The other thing I'm working on is I'm working on like guests. What I want to do is I want to bring, oh God. You guys know that John's not here right now. I don't have him working with us anymore. He's still in the community, he's still in Discord, but he had to take a step back for his own mental sanity and just kind of kick back and take some time to breathe and be with his people. So he's not going to be in the live streams and stuff, but I need to start bringing more people on here so it's more than just my opinion. So I'm looking at grabbing some hosts and some other people to jump on as like guests. I watch YouTube just like you guys do. I watch like Tom get on with Jeff all the time, and I watch like I know of all the other content guys like DB Tech that do live streams regularly. That have guests and talk to other people. It's way more fun with more than one person. So I'm going to try and get more people on here. This is still kind of a smallish channel, not even smallish. This is a small channel. So even though on Discord with all these other big creators and stuff, I'm basically just like an ant next to them. So I have to see if I can get some other people to jump on live streams sometimes. Usually the live streams involve people actually like talking to each other face to face, and I don't do a whole lot of FaceTime on this channel. You guys notice it's mostly just screen shares. We'll see. I don't have a YouTube studio. That's the thing. This is my office. I'm sitting in my home office. It's not fancy. It's not like, you know, what you see all the other YouTubers have behind them where they have like these cool backsplashes with like this neon lighting and like everything's clean and minimalist and looks like IKEA. And like, you know, very Nordic and like Swedish kind of back end. Like, you know, I don't have any of that. I'm in my office right now. There's like a cat's litter box sitting right next to me. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. I don't know what I'm going to do in terms of maybe putting a backdrop behind me or maybe at some point, yeah, I don't know, deciding how I'm going to go face to face with some of these other content creators for live streams, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's the news. I don't know the next time I'm going to live stream. The summer, I like to take some time out. I'll be on vacation next couple months. I got like the family gathering in Florida next week, and then after that, my wife and I are going to Scotland in July for marriage retreat, and then I think she's doing a triathlon in Boston that I'm going to go up there with. So I guess we get some travel coming on, so I'm going to try and see when I can squeeze it in. The reason this really worked today very well is because my boss is at the beach, so he's kind of chilling. My biggest client who calls me every day and bothers me about something, he's also off this week. So I'm like, oh man, Friday might be a good time for a live stream. Didn't even know that about my largest client for my job until like the Wednesday call. And he was like, by the way, I'm leaving after this call, so bye. So if you guys got a really late notice about this live stream, that's why. I didn't even know I was going to do it until like Wednesday or yesterday. So the announcement was made kind of late. It looks like a lot of people joined, and the chat's been great. Thank you guys so much for jumping in there. Let me bring that back on the screen here so you guys can kind of jump back in here. So that's been really great. So this is for just a kind of last minute announcement. This went really well, but I want to try and do maybe, again, more other people, like different other people to get different opinions on here. I have to talk to some of the other guys on Discord because you guys see, like, I'd love to have Tom on here. I'd love to have some of the other people that are part of the administrator team of the Servers at Home Discord on here. If the timing worked out for them, I know this is during the middle of the day. Most of you guys are probably at work today, just kind of streaming me in the background. So we're gonna see how it's gonna go. So let me jump back in this chat real fast. I was using Arcane and switched to Dockhand, but for the update features of Arcane over Dockhand, but love the other features. This is interesting. Trivia is really cool the way they do like security scanning. It's interesting that you mentioned the update features of Arcane over Dockhand because they both have auto updaters in there, and I actually like the one that Dockhand built. But to be honest, I haven't looked at Dockhand in a while, so the video I should make is like Dockhand versus Arcane versus like Komodo. That would be a massive video to make. That would be so hard to do. And here's, I know everybody's like, oh my God, do that video. Do you know why I don't want to do that video? Because Dockhand, to go through every single feature would take an hour. It would take an hour to hit every single. Now, I could probably just hit the highlights, but the thing is, the highlights are basically the same across all of these container managers. So like I'll give you the end. Here's the conclusion of the video I haven't even made yet. They're all good. They all share a very similar feature set. It's really based on what kind of UI you like, one more than the other. That's basically it. But I may do an Arcane versus Dockhand where I get to talk a little bit more about the deeper features, not just the highlights that they all share. But that would be a hard video to make. I'd have to look into that. But I should do a Dockage versus Arcane. I have it on my list to do an Arcane 2.0 video. I might just bundle that. I might do an Arcane 2.0 with a Dockhand and just do that video. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to go on with that. Oh, Dockhand requires labels in the ammo if they're pinned versions. That's if they're pinned versions, dude. I usually do latest, but I know some people do pinned versions. I didn't realize Arcane doesn't. Well, the point here's my question though. If it's a pinned version, you don't need to do updates, right? Like wouldn't that defeat the purpose of doing container updates if I pin the version? I don't know. I'm just curious. We'll talk about that later. So yeah, the update features. Long story, I might do a video about this. We'll see. I have to see how much time I want to spend digging into very, very trivial features, or maybe I just have to really just look at both of those containers and see how much they diverge and how far deep, and like how deep do I have to go into the feature set before I see divergence between Dockhand and Arcane. That's going to be like the make or break for me if I make that video. The world around us makes it hard to be 100% self-hosted. Yeah, man, we're definitely fighting the upstream. The world, and this is the worst part about that. I feel like currently, like for some reason, we keep trying to centralize power. Even though we know decentralized is better than centralized, every time someone invents something really great, it quickly becomes the centralized thing, which just kills self-hosting. So yeah, I get that. I'll keep fighting the uphill battle. I'll swim against the current, man. I'm just gonna keep doing self-hosted until I can, and I don't know when that's gonna be. I'll be making these videos when I'm 80. Like, I'll be the old guy talking to 20-year-olds learning how to self-host, being like, back in my day, like, we used to have, like, reverse proxies that you have to build by hand. You used to have to build your own computers. You didn't have all this cloud stuff. All right. Self-host small PKI infrastructure for HTTPS and cert logging in Windows and O365 is what I'm working on, but there are very less. Yeah, you know why there's no documentation on that? Because nobody wants to do that for Windows and O365. Like being Linux and being like more open source Nextcloud, like to do the PKI infrastructure for this is a very enterprise class kind of request here. So that's why you're probably struggling with that, and there's not a lot of documentation. I probably wouldn't make a video or documentation on that either, just because it's a very specific ask. And again, voting with my wallet, I don't want people to use Windows. I want people to use Linux. But yeah, this is a challenging thing to talk about. This is more enterprise, not necessarily as home labby, but yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. That's not easy to do. Bezel. Yeah, a lot of people like Bezel. I think there's a wiki page for Bezel because I looked at it before and it's good. I have yet to get smart to work in Bezel for lack of trying. Yeah. Subtitles are big. We shows those under 40. Yeah, dude, I've noticed that people under 40 definitely prefer subtitles. I might have to bump that video up on Patreon. Let me write that down in my little. You want to know how old school I am? I have a notebook in front of me right now that sits underneath my monitor with a pen, so I don't even like type into like I have Joplin notes open. That's like for my show notes, and that's how I keep track of the YouTube scripts and stuff. But like for my day to day, like I have to remember to do this. It's literally just a notebook and pen and paper in front of me. I've officially crossed over into being 40, by the way, so I'm no longer under 40. I've crossed that threshold recently, sadly. Haven't been around in a minute. Stuff. Why? Hey man, I haven't seen you in a while either. Sorry, here, John stepped away. Yeah, do we need fancy valuable content? Yeah, I hope the content's valuable. I hope so. That's the idea of the channel, man. I was like, if you guys go back to the early days of my YouTube channel, like the very first videos, it was just the same kind of screen share I did for work, and it just keeps hopefully getting better. Like I just keep getting better with DaVinci Resolve, keep getting better with like end screens and cards and like the visuals. The challenge of doing this channel without talking to you like face to face is like when I'm talking, like I'm talking right now, like the screen isn't very dynamic. So like I'm just sometimes talking on YouTube like videos and the screen is just like a static screen. I'm like, it's not visually engaging. So I'm like, I don't know. So I want to like maybe start doing more FaceTime stuff, but like I also started using Claude to build like more visual like slide deck cards, so at least you have something more, cool to look at rather than just like the GitHub page of whatever it is I'm talking about. So we'll see. But the videos, I'm hoping you guys are liking the videos. I'm hoping the content is valuable. I'm hoping you guys feel like they're getting better. So I'm trying really hard, even though it probably doesn't look like it. I am. But yeah, no, that's gonna be today's show, man. I think we're good now. About 2 hours. Starting to lose my voice because I work remotely, so I don't talk to a lot of humans. Yeah, I feel young at 27. Tom, I forgot how young you are. I forget how young some of the guys in our Discord admin staff are. We got some youngins, but we also have there's a dude on our staff. I think Kamo is like 50 plus or like 55 plus, dude. So we have quite a range of people on the servers at home staff for Discord. They range from like, again, I think literally 25 to 55. I think so. We're pretty diverse. But anyway, thank you guys so much for talking with me today. Thank you so much for the chats. Thank you so much for the donations for the guys that donated, man. I'm really, really moved that you guys want to give me your hard-earned cash for just talking about home labbing. That's wild to me. Yeah, so it's now everybody's telling me how old they are. Everybody's like 48, 57, 40, half century club. Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm calling myself old at 40 and everybody else in this channel is laughing at me. I get it. Anyway. All right. Yeah, no. So we're going to be good for today, man. Next time, I'm like, the reason I talked about like the things that I'm doing is I'm hoping that with all the vacation and the stuff I'm taking out here. Oh, this is coming up. This is getting better. I'm hoping with all the time that I'm taking away that I'll be able to do this next month or maybe the month after. I'd like to do them once a month. I think that's a good cadence. We used to do them weekly, and I was like, dude, there's not a lot to. That's tough to do it weekly. I feel like I want more content than that. I want to be able to talk more about like big news stories over a longer period of time than just every single week. I felt like that was a little bit too often, maybe as much as twice a month, but I think once a month is going to be the sweet spot if that. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. I might be doing some Patreon giveaways. So if you're not on Discord, man, make sure you're on Discord because I might be doing some Patreon giveaways for that. I should do Patreon giveaways on Matrix. That should be what I do to incentivize people to get on Matrix. So I'm kicking myself in the foot. I'm shooting myself in the foot by not doing more stuff there. But yeah, anyway, we'll talk about Patreon giveaways in Discord. Some cool videos coming up, man. If you guys heard me say anything about a video I'm thinking of making and you want to see it, make sure you hit up the suggestions channel on Discord. I read every single suggestion. You might not see it get made because maybe I can't do it or I got other stuff coming up, but I do read all the suggestions. So if you have them, put them in Discord. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for donating. Thank you guys for being a part of this. FYI, UniFi has not. UniFi not has Let's Encrypt built in. Now has Let's Encrypt built in. Okay, I have to look into that feature because again, I'm still part of the UniFi journey here. I'm very new. I just got my UniFi equipment this year, so I'm still young in the UniFi world. Anyway, all right, we're gonna close it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I look forward to next month, man. I think this is gonna be cool. I think next month we can do even better and have even better conversation. But this was really great. So thank you guys for listening to me drone on about everything for the last 2 hours and just talk about some of the stuff that I get really nerdy about. I just get so excited about home labbing. I'm so excited for this new UniFi gear to come. I'm on pins and needles. I'm like, man, I hope that order was put in because I can't track the shipment and I watch that stuff like a hawk on UPS. Anyway, so yeah, when I hook that stuff up, you'll see some updates on Discord. I might do some more blog updates, and look forward to the videos coming out, guys. The video coming out. Let me check something really fast for you guys. Studio. I think I got a video coming out on Sunday. I think it is. So I'll give you guys, since you stayed to the end, I'll give you the teaser of what we're gonna do. Is this Termix? It's Termix. So one of my favorite SSH managers. You hit the like button. I'm supposed to say that. See, this is why I need John here. You gotta hit the like button so that the channel this gets likes. Because if it gets likes, YouTube really like YouTube will reward me and reward the channel and make us more visible to people when people like stuff. That's very helpful. So make sure to hit the like button. Termix is one of my favorite self-hosted SSH clients. One of the guys on Discord, of course, one of the guys that on Servers at Home staff told me about it. They just released a major update. Fun story about that video. I had to shoot it 3 times. I did one for Termix forever ago, and I just updated it really fast, and I was getting ready to release it, and they dumped a completely new UI. And I was like, great, the video I made is now completely out of date. So I reshot that video, and then on the day that video was supposed to release, like the second or third time, he did another update. I was like, oh my, like, love updates, love fast cadence, but like in just trying to get this video released, like I've had to reshoot it so many times. So like, this is it, I'm done. Like when Termix releases, that video was gonna release on Sunday, I think, or Saturday. Go watch that video. It's really cool. If you have to SSH into anything, you should be using something like Termix. Really cool. And that video was just such a pain to shoot because I had to reshoot it so many times. So please watch it. Thank you guys so much. All right, so I'm done. I'm gonna leave guys now. I'll see you guys next month. I'll see you on Discord. I'll see you on